Back at the Kingdom, Bob Costas along with Len Dawson. New England has won the toss. Getting set to kick off with Horace Ivory waiting deep is Efren Herrera for Seattle. Both these clubs are 1-1. They met during preseason, last game of the preseason schedule right here. Seattle won 30-23. They've had one regular season meeting. That was in 1977, and the Patriots won easily in that one, 31-0. Bill Courier, one of the up men, grabbed it. Jim Jodat tackled him, a 17-yard return, and New England has the ball. Steve Grogan, the quarterback. Don Calhoun replacing Sam Cunningham, who's a holdout, and Vegas Ferguson, the rookie from Notre Dame, are his running backs. Deadly group of receivers. Russ Francis, perhaps the best tight end in the business, and a pair of deep threats in Morgan and Jackson. We'll take a look at the Pats' offensive line after this first play. From the 36-yard line of New England. Grogan went deep to Stanley Morgan on the very first play of the preseason game between these two clubs. This time more conservative, the rookie from Notre Dame. Vegas Ferguson carries and gets 4 or 5. The offensive line of the Patriots, Hannah perhaps the best in the business, a veteran group.
There's one change. Dwight Wheeler is not starting. Hetz, number 77, will be at that left tackle position.
Second down, and we'll call it 5 from just across the 40-yard line. Both wide receivers on the right side. And now here comes the veteran Harold Jackson in motion. Don Calhoun bounces off a tackle, pulls forward, gets a couple. It'll be third down. Free safety John Harris moving up to get in on the stop. They play the 3-4. Check it out. We're looking at New England's defense while Seattle's is out on the field. We'll get a look at the Patriots a bit later. The 4-3 defense employed by the Seahawks. They'll go with Jacob Green, the rookie, Robert Hardy, Manu Tuiasosopo, and Bill Gregory across the front. Their linebackers are Michael Jackson, Terry Beeson, and Keith Butler. Their corners are Cornell Webster and Dave Brown. Their safeties, Keith Simpson at the strong spot and John Harris at the free safety position. Third down and a long 3, and Andy Johnson tries to get it and will not. The Seahawks are forced to punt. Manu Tuiasosopo, the second-year man from UCLA, was in on the stop.
Seattle did what they wanted to do. They stopped the rushing game of New England. They can't afford to let New England run with the football because that will open up so many things for Steve Grogan.
Here is Mike Kubach, the surprising rookie from Kansas, an 11th-round draft choice. Last week in the loss to Atlanta, he punted for an average of 46.2, including a 64-yarder. For the year, he's at almost 45 yards. And his boot is fallen on by Will Lewis shortly after he handled it at about the 23. So that will be the Seahawks' opening field position. 34 yards. Jim Zorn's running backs are Sherman Smith and Dan Dornick. Sam McCullum, Steve Largent, and John Sawyer, his tight end. Last year, Largent had the highest number of receiving yards by any player in the decade of the 70s. And there's the offensive line of the Seahawks. Jeff Seavey has moved in at the left guard spot. Tom Lynch, normally their starter, 4-year man from Boston College, is out with a bruised calf. First play from scrimmage. Zorn with the handoff to Sherman Smith. And Smith runs right into the arms of left side linebacker Mike Hawkins. He got help from John Zamberlin, one of the inside linebackers. In that 3-4 defense, Lunsford, Sugar Bear Hamilton, and Julius Adams across the front. And the backers are Hawkins, Nelson, Zamberlin, and Choate. All #1 draft choices, and they have a 5th, Mike Haynes, who's a holdout, in their secondary. Claiborne, Sanford, James, and Fox.
That last play looked like it was a mix-up between the quarterback and the ball carrier because they ran into one another before the defense got a hold of the ball carrier.
And a fumble on the snap, a loose football. New England may have come up with it, they have. The Patriots have the game's first break, as there was difficulty in the snap between Yarno and Jim Zorn, and Steve Nelson, the inside linebacker, fell on it for the turnover.
One thing that you do not want to happen early is to give the team a break, and here it is right away. Zorn did not have control of the football from his offensive center, Yarno. It's in the middle of that pile down there. New England comes up with it in very good field position around the 25-yard line. Right now, they're in field goal range.
And you saw Steve Nelson, number 57, at the bottom of the pile. He is credited with the recovery. From the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Vegas Ferguson, nowhere. Cornell Webster came up from his left corner spot and made the stop.
I'm sure that they're going to be running at this young defensive lineman of the Seattle Seahawks, and that's Jacob Green, number 79. He's very quick, but he's still a rookie, and they tried to test him right that last time. Green, Hardy, Tuiasosopo, and Gregory of the defensive line of Seattle.
And their linebackers, Jackson, Beeson, and Butler. Beeson, the veteran of the group. Cornell Webster, who made the last stop. Dave Brown, who has started every game in Seahawks history. Simpson and Harris in the secondary.
Reverse. Fake reverse.
Ferguson keeps it. There's a flag down, and he is brought down by Jacob Green with good pursuit. Got only about 3, and we do have a penalty.
One thing that they talk about Jacob Green that they think that you can do on him is run a reverse on him because he is so quick and so aggressive. One way to slow down the defensive end, every once in a while run a reverse, even though you don't make much yardage on it, just to let him know that you may do it.
Referee Pat Haggerty will step this one off. It's against Seattle. Apparently they were offsides, and there's Haggerty's crew. And now we'll listen to Pat make it official.
Defense, number 53.
Keith Butler, the linebacker, is offsides.
So that brings up 2nd down and 5 with the ball at the 19-yard line and 11 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the first quarter. No score so far, but New England with a golden opportunity. A fumble early, recovered by Steve Nelson. Grogan on a quick count. Gives to Don Calhoun. Finds the middle blocked up. Tries to go outside, but they close that down too. Keith Simpson, the 3-year man from Memphis State, came up from his strong safety spot, and he got there first.
Seattle is doing a job with that defensive front 4 because they're plugging up the inside. There's no room whatsoever for Calhoun. Actually, it was a very good play by Keith Simpson, number 42, the safety man, coming up and making an open field tackle. So far, the running attack of New England has not gone, and New England has shown a very good running attack in the first 2 ball games.
5 defensive backs for the Seahawks with Will Lewis in. New backfield pair for New England on 3rd down and 4 from the 18. Ferguson and Calhoun out. Andy Johnson and the veteran Chuck Foreman in. Grogan to put it in the air. Has time and a wide open target in Andy Johnson. That's a first down inside the 10 where it will be. Well, they're going to put it down right at the 10. So either 1st and goal or possibly they could get a first down at about the 1-inch line. Cornell Webster got there but too late.
That should surprise no one that number 32, Andy Johnson, was involved in the 3rd down play, throwing the football. That's what he's in there for. That's his specialty. I'm surprised to see him going out of the ballgame, although we're on the 10-yard line right now. If they get near that goal line, you'll see number 32, Andy Johnson, back in the ballgame.
They've removed the yardstick, so officially it is 1st and goal. The ball resting exactly at the 10, and Vegas Ferguson gets a couple. Cut down by John Harris, the free safety.
Nothing there so far as holes for New England running backs. You've got to give credit to Seattle for doing a good job with that front 4 and the linebacking 4.
Vegas Ferguson, in his debut against Cleveland, gained 68 yards, bruised his ribs early in the loss last week to Atlanta, and sat out much of the game. All-time leading Notre Dame ground gainer. 2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. Grogan looking left and firing. Batted down in the end zone. Dave Brown was there, and apparently he was the one who knocked it away from Stanley Morgan, who last year led the NFL with 12 touchdown receptions.
Stanley Morgan was not open. It's a good thing that Grogan threw it high because 2 defensive men happened to be in the area with any luck at all for Seattle. That could have been an interception.
And again on the 3rd down play, they bring in the better pass receivers in Andy Johnson and Chuck Foreman. And the 5 defensive back alignment for Jack Patera's Seattle Seahawks with Will Lewis coming in as the nickelback.
It's a tough situation for Grogan because the defense has the end zone to help him.
Grogan, the number 1 rated passer in the NFL at this early stage. He's going to hold on to it. He's got some open field. Can he get there? No. They collar him and bring him down at about the 2. Will Lewis was the man who made the tackle.
Tackle short of the end zone by Will Lewis.
Grogan has that ability to run with the football. He's taking a look. It's pass or run. Hanna, 73, is looking for some help. He puts that ball away, and now he's headed for the goal line. It's a good tackle by Seattle. Collaring him right there, making sure he does not get into the end zone.
So now we will see John Smith. On field goals this year, he's 2 of 2. A 30-year-old native of Southampton, England. Steve Grogan disappointed that his club could not punch it across. They took possession at the 25, got a 1st and goal at the 10, but were stopped just inside the 2. Matt Cavanaugh, the backup quarterback, will hold. Pete Brock will snap. And Smith gets his kick away.
Kick is good. The score
And he punches it home from the 9-yard line. A 19-yard field goal for John Smith, stopping the clock with 9 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the first quarter. And the score, the Patriots 3 and the Seahawks nothing. Back at the Kingdome, Bob Costas with Len Dawson. Early in the first quarter, New England gets a break and does not get as much out of it as they might have.
Seattle is fortunate that they only gave up 3 points.
And now on Smith's kickoff, it is Cornell Webster who comes up the middle and is belted. Webster had been averaging 26.5 yards per kick return.
They had 21 on that one. They call it a suicide squad, and you're going to see one of the reasons why. You must sacrifice your body. Webster, number 38, does it just there. He tries to go up top, and he looks like he ran right into a brick wall. Now, for Seattle, they really haven't done anything yet. They've had 2 plays that accounted for nothing, giving up the ball on a fumble from the exchange between the center and the quarterback.
From their own 27-yard line, with 9:06 to play in the first quarter, they go back to work. Zorn with that play fake. And then swinging it out of the backfield is Sherman Smith, who juggles it off his head and very nearly kept it alive long enough for a fluke interception.
He had to take his eyes off the football. He was looking to see which way he was going to run after he caught it, but he forgot the most important thing, and that's to catch it. Play action fake. You see 47 right there is letting the lineman come in, now sneaking out between them. Bobbling that ball there, fortunately, right on top of his head. Unfortunately, it did bounce one more time because New England could have come up with it.
And now in an obvious passing situation, New England has gone to the 4th defensive lineman. Tony McGee has come in, the 10-year veteran, who has been their sack leader the past several seasons. So he comes in to give them some additional pass rush. A 3rd wide receiver, Steve Rabel, is in the game for Seattle. They fire one out quickly to John Sawyer, the tight end, and Sawyer is shoved out of bounds, but it appears that he has the first down. And he does, across the 35-yard line.
What you're going to see from Seattle is a lot of motion and a lot of things happening. That's the tight end, number 81, Sawyer. And I'm sure that New England didn't feel that he would throw the ball out to him that quickly. He got the ball, turned it upfield. Good enough for a first down. They do not throw the ball that much to the tight ends. I'm talking about Seattle, and what they need to do is throw to that tight end a little bit more.
1st and 10 from the 37. The initial first down of the game notched by the Seahawks on that last play. Dan Dornick carries, bowling people over, gets about 5. Mel Lunsford finally made the stop, and Jack Patera looks on from the Seattle sideline.
Well, he knows they got off to a terrible start. When you fumble the football and give the opposition a break, that can change things around in a hurry. And as I said, Seattle should feel fairly fortunate that they only gave up 3 points on that fumble.
Speaking of getting off to bad starts, by winning last week to even their record at 1-1, Seattle won a game at the earliest point in a season ever in their history. They had never won before the 3rd week in any other season since the franchise was formed. Sherman Smith with some blockers in front of him trying to pick a hole, can't do it. Hit and knocked down at the 45-yard line. Steve Nelson gets credit for the tackle.
I'm not going to say that Sherman runs like a tank. But number 78 is Newton, the guard out in front. Also involved in that play, Largent, number 80, wide receiver, came back and provided a good block.
Your failure to say that Smith runs like a tank greatly disappointing our producer, Roy Hammerman. Ron Earhart on the sideline. Coach of the sometimes baffling Patriots. Always tabbed as a contender, frequently inconsistent. 3rd and a short 2. And they may not have it. They are close, but I believe they're short as Dornick carried and the Patriots defense was waiting for him.
So one thing about the Seattle Seahawks, what they need to do is get that running game established. They're only averaging about 84 yards a game rushing, and that puts a lot of pressure on the passing game. As opposed to New England, they're averaging 146 yards a game on the ground.
Len, it looks like they got the good spot. I thought they were short, but they give them the first down. From from the 48-yard line as we move inside. 7 minutes to play. 2 tight ends are in. Bell and Sawyer. Sherman Smith is out. Dornick is the lone setback. And Dornick carried. Only for a yard. John Zamberlin there, number 54.
They're getting into that 2 tight end offense, hoping to neutralize the linebackers. The linebackers will get about 75% of the tackles. And when you have 4 linebackers in the ball game like New England has, they do really an excellent job against the run. And so what Seattle is trying to do is trying to neutralize those linebackers and run that fullback straight ahead with straight ahead blocking.
Zamberlin goes out, and Tony McGee, to give them extra pass rushing, comes in. 2nd and 9. Ball just shy of midfield. Zorn stepping up into the pocket and launching one deep and over the head of Steve Rabel, probably the fastest player on the Seattle squad. 5-year veteran from Georgia. He had about a half step on his man, but Zorn overthrew him.
Well, Zorn is patting his hands in disgust because he thought he should have been on the money. But one thing we found out right there, he's got a strong arm. That, even though that play was not successful for Seattle, that's going to help later on because the defense of New England now knows that they had better play it honest. They better not be cheating up there and trying to play those 10 and 12-yard pass patterns because Zorn may go up top on it.
Another passing situation for Zorn, who has hit on 58% of his throws so far this year. 3 wide receivers in, Largent, Rabel, and McCullum. Zorn has 3 touchdown passes, has had 3 interceptions. Motion along both lines. No flags are thrown. Zorn again with time. He's got his man out there, and it was just a bit too long for Steve Rabel. He had gotten behind Rick Sanford, the young cornerback, and Zorn led him just a bit too much.
That could have been 6 points because he was open. Rabel was open. He had the step. But they always say never up, never in. You're better off to be too long than too short. You can see he had a step on his man. Had the ball been exactly right, it would have been a touchdown. But it's still, as I said, that's going to do some good later on when they want to run the pass patterns in the 10 to 15-yard area.
Preston Brown, a rookie from Vanderbilt, awaits the kick of 11-year veteran Herman Thunderfoot Weaver.
Well, he sure didn't get all of that one, but it ended up a good kick because it went out inside the 20-yard line.
Bounces out of bounds at about the 19. Only a 30-yard punt, but no return. We have 5:47 to play in the first quarter, and the score remains New England 3 and Seattle nothing. Lenny, look at this one. Cincinnati 30, Pittsburgh 28. It's a final.
21-yard field goal with 2:25 remaining in the ball game gave Cincinnati that victory.
So lightning strikes twice. They did it to Pittsburgh a year ago. Cincinnati was 4-12. Pittsburgh on their way to another Super Bowl title. The Bengals upset them, and they do it again early this season.
San Francisco is off and running. They're now 3-0, defeating the Jets. The Jets are 0-3.
Steve DeBerg with another big passing day in that game.
Speaking of passing, it's time that Grogan went to work in the air for
Vegas Ferguson carries on first down, gets a couple of yards. Bill Gregory, the veteran of the defensive line for Seattle, 10-year man out of Wisconsin, made the tackle. Miami barely gets by Atlanta, 20-17.
They came from behind to do that.
And Detroit goes to 3-0, and St. Louis goes to 0-3. Don't know, in case you're wondering, yet what Billy Sims did in that game. Second down play. Grogan has time. Swings it out of the backfield. The catch is made by Don Calhoun. Calhoun is stopped short of the 25-yard line. Keith Butler got there first and had plenty of help.
Keith Butler, the first off there. Final score, San Francisco 37.
This will bring up 3rd and 4 from about the 25. We have 5:05 to play in the first quarter. This telecast is presented by authority of the NFL. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Seattle Seahawks and the NFL is prohibited.
Into the ball game right now, you've got Chuck Foreman and Andy Johnson. Along with the rest of their great receivers, they have 5 outstanding receivers on that field right now.
They're down and along 4. Grogan with time, but his pass is caught again. Jacob Green, the number 1 draft choice, the rookie, from Texas A&M jumped up and batted it away.
And it's a good thing he did, because Andy Johnson was wide open in the flat. Had Grogan been able to get the ball to him, and it would have been a first down. Number 79 is Jacob Green, their #1 draft choice. He gets a big paw up in the air. A lot of times that's all you have to do is impair the vision, and right there he gets a hold of the ball. Out in the flat, number 32, Johnson was wide open.
Second punt of the day by Hubac, with Lewis waiting deep. Signals for the fair catch and takes it. It'll be good field position for Seattle as he makes the grab at the Seahawks 43. Only a 32-yard punt by Hubac, who had been averaging 45 yards per kick through the first 2 games. 4:32 on the clock, and we're coming right back. So the Patriots have some support at the Kingdome.
Well, somebody loves Steve. You know, Steve is really an outstanding athlete. Cleveland getting on the victory side, 20-13 over the Chiefs. Chiefs are now 0-3.
Tough times for Marv Levy and your old ball club. From the 43, Zorn goes back to work. He chipped a kneecap early in the preseason. Played only 5 quarters of preseason football. Back 100% now, though.
Play pass.
Steps up and lets it go. Got a man wide open. A leaping catch by Steve Largent, who last year rung up 1,237 receiving yards, most by any pass receiver in the 1970s.
Play action pass, first down. Excellent time to run this. Faking it to Sherman Smith, coming back. He has plenty of time, steps up in the pocket, and guess who is going to be open about 20 yards down the field? Steve Largent.
And Zorn got rid of it just as Mike Hawkins was about to lower the boom on it.
Well, as a quarterback, you have to anticipate you're going to get wrapped every once in a while.
From the 35, the deepest penetration by Seattle's offense.
Better let go.
Zorn throwing on the run, and incomplete, intended again for Largent. It'll be 2nd and 10, 3:46 remaining in the first quarter. New England in front, 3-0.
He had to get rid of that football. Mel Lunsford, number 72, the defensive end, was pursuing Zorn, and had he not got rid of the ball, he would have met Mr. Lunsford.
In Detroit's 20-7 victory over St. Louis, we don't know whether or not Billy Sims scored any touchdowns, but apparently he had 95 yards rushing.
Scored 1 touchdown, so I guess you'd have to say he's off to an outstanding start.
Another touchdown and 95 more rushing yards for Sims. And the surprising Lions have already exceeded last year's victory total. They were 2-14 a year ago. They're 3-0 this year. Zorn flipping it out to Dornick. Dornick being pursued by Nelson, who collars him from behind. Steve Nelson, who played his college football at North Dakota State under Ron Earhart, who is now his head coach with the Patriots, coming up with a good defensive play.
You can see there that Nelson has excellent speed for a linebacker, because Dornick actually had about a half a step on him, and he came up with the tackle. Had he not made the tackle, definitely it would have been a first down.
As it is, they got 8 on the play, 3rd and 2.
So now you're coming into a situation where you might see Zorn put the ball up in the air, because the last time they were in short yardage, they made it, but not by much, and they didn't need as much as they need right now.
Exactly 3 minutes to play in the quarter. 3rd and 2 from the 27.
He's going up.
Zorn can run for it. He's got the first down. And then in an act of self-preservation, he slides to the turf. 1st and 10 for the Seahawks.
Well, we said in the pregame show that these quarterbacks, Grogan and Zorn, are very exciting because they can make some big plays. He sees the opening right there. He knows he only has a couple of yards to go, so he's going to pick up that first down. And now he's going to do what he's supposed to do, and that's hit the turf. 10-yard gain. First down. They're in excellent scoring position right now.
At the 17 of New England.
Well, right now, Zorn is the leading ball carrier for Seattle. That's the one thing that they have to try to establish is a running game.
3 wide receivers in McCullum, Largent, and Rabel in there now. Just 1 setback, Dan Dornick. You mentioned that they haven't established the running game yet so far this season. They do not have a rushing touchdown through their first 2 games.
They have 2 tight ends in the ball game. They're running to the tight end side, and there's absolutely nothing there. Now, the problem with that, Bob, is it puts them in a position right now with 2nd and long yardage that they're going to have to throw the football. If they come up with 4 yards on first down, it makes play calling that much easier. Speaking of play calling, you see Jack Patera, the head coach of Seattle, on the sidelines. The plays are coming from Jerry Rome upstairs, and it's related down to the field.
Rome calls all the plays. I know that that's not the way you operated when you were playing.
No, there he is. Jerry Rome is calling all of the offensive plays for Seattle. See what he's called this time.
They lost a yard on the last play. Second down and 11 from the 18-yard line.
It's called a checkoff. That's what's happening. He's checked off on the line of scrimmage.
Well, let's see what Zorn's audible play is. A heave to the sidelines incomplete, which will bring up third and long yardage. Was in the vicinity of the pass, covered by Ray Claiborne.
He knew that they were blitzing, they were coming after him, and he had to get rid of the football. He threw the ball before his receiver made his final break, but the ball was high and away. He had no chance whatsoever for the receiver to make the catch.
I noticed the Seahawks are using a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. Last week, Atlanta used 3 and sometimes 4 wide receivers and had good success with it against New England.
What you're trying to do with 3 wide receivers is spread out that defense. For one thing, give them a greater area to cover in pass coverage. You have 3 fast receivers to go after the football.
Zorn thus far 3 for 8, 41 yards passing. He needs 11 on this third down play. They try and cross him up and go with the run, but Dornick didn't fool anybody, and it'll be 4th down. Ray Sugar Bear Hamilton wrapped him up.
They were anticipating that one of 2 things. They were going to blitz, an all-out blitz trying to get to the quarterback. In a case like that, if you get by the line of scrimmage, there is no one there to pursue, and you could score a touchdown. Or if they were not blitzing, they were jumping back in pass coverage and hoping to jump through there to make a first down. That time, New England played it well.
Is this a good fake situation as Zorn kneels to hold for Herrera?
Not until you even up the score. They need to even up the score. If they're down by 3, they've got to get 3 on the board.
From the 22, a 32-yard attempt by Herrera. And we are tied at 3 apiece as he drills it home. Herrera is now 4 of 5 on his field goal attempts this year. His only miss coming from 54 yards out. Ball game even at 3 with 37 seconds to play in quarter number 1. New England has brought some extra people up close to the ball, wary of the fact that Herrera has been known to try the onside kick even early in a game.
Yes, you can see there are 2, 4, 5 men, and they're going to be watching Herrera because the last time they played, Herrera was successful on an onside kick. They're liable to do anything at any time this Seattle team.
In the last 2 years, Herrera has tried the onside kick for the Seahawks 11 times, successfully 7. This one he boots away to Horace Ivory, the Oklahoma product. Fields it a yard deep in the end zone. A running lane opens up for him. Horace Ivory cutting back and out to the 45-yard line. Excellent field position for the Patriots. Steve Rabel finally made the tackle to end that 46-yard jaunt.
Steve Rabel with the tackle.
46 yards. The problem with New England in the past time they played, and here you're seeing number 83, Rabel. He's the safety man. He is to prevent touchdowns, and that's exactly what he's going to have to do right now because Horace Ivory, had he gotten by Rabel right there, could have been, if he broke that tackle, could have been all the way to the end zone. New England has improved on their special teams. They weren't very good the last time. As Brogan's going to throw.
And he's going to throw deep, intending for Morgan, and batted away at the last moment by Dave Brown. So Grogan, who went up top 28 times in 1979 for touchdowns, tying Brian Sipe for the NFL lead, was looking for 6 that time, his favorite target, Morgan, but Brown broke it up.
Had the ball been thrown a little farther, I do believe it could have been 6 because I think Stanley, with his great speed, really wasn't accelerating to his full extent right there. As you see Brown making an excellent play. Had he not been there, it would have been 6 for the Patriots. And Seattle's well aware of what they do because the last time they played, I think the very first play of the game, 51-yarder that Grogan threw to Stanley Morgan.
Grogan so far this year has hit on 60% of his passes, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Second down. And he'll go to the air again. Over the middle. Vegas Ferguson makes the catch and then pays for it as he's hit hard by strong safety Keith Simpson.
Backs know that when they come on a delayed pattern across the middle and they are in front of the defensive people, they are going to take some shots. Ferguson knows exactly that as he makes the catch. 42 is Keith Simpson of Seattle, and he makes the hit right after he catches it. Now the quarter is ended. It's all tied 3 apiece.
They got 7 yards on the play. It'll be 3rd and 3 for New England when we come back with quarter number 2. One of the Seagulls flashes a smile along the sideline as we begin quarter number 2 at the Kingdome, tied at 3 apiece. The Patriots and the Seahawks. Bob Costas with Len Dawson. 3rd down and 3 for New England. Middle linebacker Terry Beeson goes out in a passing situation, replaced by second-year man Joe Norman, who is a better pass defender at the inside spot. And Grogan is under heavy pressure. There's a flag down on the play. He completes his pass to Andy Johnson. Johnson has first down yardage before Keith Butler makes the stop, but we have to wait and see what the call will be.
That was an excellent play by Steve Grogan. It may come back because it could be that the man was in, somebody was in motion. It's going to come back and they're going to have to do it all over again. But showing you, as I said before, Grogan and Zorn can make the big plays. That time he was trapped because of his quickness and his ability. He was able to get the ball off, but it's going to have to come back. He's going to have to do it all over again.
And here's Pat Haggerty to make it official.
Illegal motion. Illegal motion, number 29. Offense.
Harold Jackson in motion.
Yeah, he was coming, and what you have to be is parallel to the line of scrimmage or going backwards. He was going toward the line of scrimmage when the ball was snapped.
Amazing Harold Jackson. In his 13th year out of Jackson State, has played in 5 Pro Bowls and has never missed a game despite his rather diminutive size, 5'10" and only 170, and all the licks he's taken. He has never been injured, at least not seriously enough to miss a game. Grogan on 3rd and 8.
Good.
And a leaping grab by Andy Johnson. They've got the first down anyway.
Now you see the reason why Andy Johnson comes into the ball game in a 3rd and long situation along with Chuck Foreman.
Another flag is down though, Len, and it looks like they're going to bring it back. It's possibly holding this time. So 2 penalties against the Patriots negate 2 gains which were good enough for first downs.
Now the problem is you can't throw it to your backs because they'll let them catch it in front of the defenders and make the tackle. All they're trying to do is prevent the first down.
In the opening minute of the second quarter, Efren Herrera from 32, John Smith from 19. That's all the offense so far. A 3-3 tie. And here's Pat Haggerty again.
Holding, number 77, offense.
Gary Petts.
Petts, who's playing in place of the injured Dwight Wheeler at the left tackle spot for the Patriots.
3rd and 18, 37.
Now 3rd and 18, pushed all the way back to the 37.
They're going to have to either go to their tight end or one of their wide receivers to pick up. They're going to go with Grogan.
Seahawks put the rush on. He completes it to Chuck Foreman. Foreman gets out to midfield. The Seahawks are happy with that. He's about 5 yards short of a first down. And the Patriots will have to punt it away.
Well, once again, he had 18 yards to go, so he does not want to throw the ball to his backs because percentages are they're not going to pick up the first down. He wants to go deep, but he's being flushed up in the pocket. He does see Foreman and gets rid of the football, and Chuck makes the catch and tries to get upfield, but tackled short, 5 yards short, and they're punting right now.
Will Lewis to receive, Kubac to kick, heading for the sideline and bouncing out of bounds. And they'll mark it at about the 22 or 3 yard line.
28 yards.
So the clock stops with 14 minutes and 9 seconds to play. Only a 28-yard kick by Kubac, and we'll be back in just a minute. So a big NFL doubleheader next week on NBC, preceded by a half hour by NFL 80 with Brian Gumble. Check your local listings for the games and times in your area.
The punting game for New England is not going well. For Kubac, 3 kicks. He's just averaging 31.3 yards.
And he had been booming them in the first 2 weeks of the season. Jeff Moore with his first carry of the day on first down for the Seahawks. Moore, a second-year man out of Jackson State. He started the game at Kansas City last week in place of Sherman Smith. Smith has reclaimed the starting role this time, and Moore got his first carry and was stopped for a loss of 3 yards. It'll be second down and 13 from the 20. In the fourth quarter, Kenny Stabler and the Oilers lead Burt Jones and the Colts 21-9. Second and 13 for Zorn. Swings it out of the backfield to Jim Jodad, and the former Ram gets about 5 yards back, and it will be third down and 8. Mike Hawkins made the tackle along with Steve Nelson, the 2 linebackers.
You can see how important first down is for both ball clubs to do something on first down. Right now, Seattle Seahawks come up with a 2nd and 13 situation. They're forced to throw the football. They're forced to throw the football right now with a 3rd and 8 or a 3rd and 9 situation that they're facing. That's why the first down is so important. You got to come up with at least 4 yards. Takes a lot of the heat off trying to call that second down play.
Fifth defensive back is Bill Courier in the nickel for New England. A third wide receiver, Steve Rabel, joining Largent and McCullum in the offense for the Seahawks. And they may have a little confusion here, necessitating a timeout, and they do. They have to waste one.
That's exactly what they did. They wasted it because you don't want to give up those timeouts. You need them. They're so important just before the half.
Seattle, number 1.
He's looking around, too. He may have been looking at that 30-second clock, and he probably could see that he wasn't going to be able to. There he is right there. He saw the 30-second clock. It was down near 0. He didn't want to take a 5-yard loss.
So we'll come back with Seattle's third down play. They need 9 to keep their drive alive in just a moment. And NBC will follow the pennant races right on through to the end of the regular season and into the World Series this year. Next week, either the Expos and Phillies or the Reds and Astros on NBC.
3 wide receivers for Seattle.
They need 9 yards from their own 24-yard line on third down. 12:42 to play in the first half. The Patriots 3 and the Seahawks 3. There's Largent in motion. Long count by Zorn. Now he drops back and fires over the middle. He's got his man. The catch made by Sam McCullum, and McCullum did an excellent piece of running to get to the stick for the first down.
When he got to the sticks, he did it on his own with that little move that he did, and he did a first down. New England had 11 men up near that line of scrimmage. They really didn't blitz, and it was a delayed pattern to McCullum, number 84. You'll see a move that he makes coming up here that gets him the first down. A little hitch move right there. Now right there, straight ahead now. He knows that he's got both arms around that football. Picked up an additional yard. Just 10 yards is all he got on it, but they only needed 9. Keeps this drive alive.
McCullum, one of only 3 Seahawks remaining from the original veteran allocation draft, which stocked this franchise in 1976. Zorn lobs it out on a diving catch by John Sawyer as tight end. Sawyer is into New England territory at the 41-yard line.
25-yard pass, double covering both the outside receivers, and he just lobs the ball over the head of the linebackers, and a great catch by John Sawyer, the tight end. He's being covered by a linebacker, number 57, Steve Nelson. Really a great catch. They have not used the tight end that much. New England knows that, so they've been doubling the outside wide receivers.
So Zorn has gobbled up 35 yards on successive completions to McCullum and then Sawyer. From the 41 of New England, it's 1st and 10 with 11:20 to play in the first half. Zorn again to the air. Under heavy pressure, he got it away just as he was belted on the play by Rod Schote.
I would say that would be heavy pressure. Whatever Rod Schote weighs is how heavy it is. He was going to go up top, trying to throw deep, and he pulled the trigger on it the first time he started to go, and he didn't. He knew he was going to get hit, so he just went through with the motion. He knew that he was getting hit right there by 56 Rod Schote. Part of the price a quarterback has to pay when he wants to go back there and throw that football.
So it's 2nd and 10. Schote in his 5th year out of Oklahoma. Zorn again. Rolling out and firing, and nobody even near it. Jim Jodat, I assume, was the intended receiver.
He was just trying to prevent a loss. They had the linebackers coming. They were blitzing him. He knew that he didn't have an opportunity to let any pattern develop, so he just got rid of the ball. Right now he's 6 for 12 for 80 yards. And there he is, number 1. He's number 1 in your heart, number 1 in your program, too. Herrera.
After they lost their opening game to San Diego, Herrera publicly questioned the attitude of the entire team, and Jack Patera's comment was, I think Efron has gotten into a bad case of enchiladas. Hasn't affected his kicking any. He's 4 of 5 on field goals this season, including 1 in the first quarter, which tied this game at 3.
Seattle needs another first down to get into Herrera's range.
3 wide receivers set. Zorn retreating back into his own territory before unloading on the run and completing it to Steve Largent. And Largent has another Seattle first down. So again, the clutch third down play.
Zorn, because of his running ability, was able to buy time to let Largent get deep and back toward the line of scrimmage to make that catch. This is great timing between an outstanding passer and an outstanding receiver. The ball is thrown, but he is coming back toward the ball. Makes it by the sidelines. Knows where he had to be, jumps out of bounds, but that took a long time to develop. And the reason they were able to do that is because Zorn is able to move and to run.
So the Seahawks, who started out behind the 8-ball, fumbling on their second play from scrimmage and setting New England up deep in their own territory, now may be on the verge of claiming their first lead of the game. Two tight ends set with Bell and Sawyer in. Jeff Moore carries and runs into a stone wall. Headed by Mel Lunsford and Rod Choate.
I think what you'll see is Seattle's going to have to throw the ball on first down because they're coming up now. 2nd and 9 situation as one of the Seattle players injured on the field.
In the fourth quarter, Buffalo 35.
And Jack Patera looks on from the Seahawks sideline. It appears to be John Sawyer, the tight end, who a moment ago made that great diving catch. No, it's Mark Bell, the other tight end. Bell, number 82, down on the field. Will be back in just a moment. And they couldn't be more correct.
Mark Bell was a player taken off the field. It presents a problem for Seattle because if he cannot play, they have just 2 tight ends on the roster. So you get into a short yardage situation. It's going to make it rather difficult.
2nd down and 9 from the 20-yard line. 10:40 to play.
They're going after him.
They come with the blitz. Zorn gets it out. Might be pass interference at the goal line. Sam McCullum can't believe it. No flag was thrown. Ray Claiborne was there with him. We'll take another look at this undoubtedly and see if Claiborne doesn't give McCullum a shove right at the goal line. It looked like Sam was home free for 6.
Well, I think what it is, they got their feet tangled up within one another. As you see, the blitz is on. He lays it up top. Run that back to see. From that angle, I could not tell.
You might be right, though, Len. It might have been just their feet tangling up rather than Claiborne doing anything intentionally.
No, I don't think he didn't do anything with his hands. If anything, it was their feet got tangled up and he went down. That's a break for New England because he was home free.
So it's 3rd and 9 from the 20. Seahawks trying to snap a 3-all tie. Zorn with a quick drop. And again for the end zone. Largent, the intended receiver, ball batted up in the air and caught by Largent. Stanford batted it away, but Largent with great concentration stuck with it and caught it for a 20-yard touchdown.
This is a great play by Largent because the ball is well underthrown. He makes it kind of look like to the defender like it isn't anywhere around. The blitz was on. He's just coasting down there. Defender does not know where it is. And watch this concentration by a great receiver. Look at his head and his eyes. Look at watching that ball all the way. It's a fantastic catch.
As we come back live, Efren Herrera drills it through the uprights to add the extra point. Largent so far today has 3 catches for 62 yards. Jack Patera has watched his club recover from a 3-0 deficit to take a 10-3 lead with 10 minutes and 24 seconds to play in the first half.
This is great concentration by number 80 in the blue, Steve Largent. His head, you watch his head, he's following that football all the way. The defensive back does not know where it is. The timing is good. He gets his hands on it, but this ball is going to be bobbled. Look at his head right now and his eyes. You can see right there that he's following that ball all the way into his hand. This is simply a magnificent catch.
Herrera to kick off with Horace Ivory deep. Fields it at the 5. Ivory ran the last one back 46 yards, and again a good run back by Horace Ivory. He's out to about the 32, and once again it was Steve Rabel who tackled him. A 28-yard return.
For New England, they've got to get something going. And like Seattle, they really haven't done much on first down. They've had a good rushing game the last couple of ball games. As I said, they averaged over 146 yards a game. But they need to get something moving right now.
Have a contrast among the quarterbacks here as Grogan comes back out onto the field. Basically, he calls his own game. Jim Zorn, on the other hand, taking instructions from Jerry Rome.
I'd like to get back to that a little later regarding who should call the plays.
Grogan will go to the air on first down. Zips one over the middle, and he's got his man wide open. Stanley Morgan is on his way. Goodbye, touchdown. 68 yards.
Well,
Morgan has decided to leave the Kingdome entirely.
I said they got to get something going on first down, and they really got something going on first down. 68 yards and a touchdown. The great speed of Stanley Morgan. That man, number 86, is the reason for that touchdown. A good throw by Steve Grogan, hit him right on the numbers. Then it was a foot race after that. And number 86, Stanley Morgan, is going to win this foot race.
This will be Morgan's third touchdown of the season. Last year he latched on to 12 scoring strikes, the most in the NFL. There are a lot of people who feel that Stanley Morgan is the best receiver in the business.
Well, I just saw two great receivers, because I don't know how you can do any better than Largent did on that touchdown that he caught in the end zone.
So it has taken New England one play from scrimmage to come back to where they can tie it on this kick by Smith, and they do. 10 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And on the 68-yard connection from Grogan to Jackson, rather to Morgan, this ball game is tied at 10 apiece. So the Seahawks did not have very long to savor their lead. One play from scrimmage, to be exact. Kubac is the kickoff man, not Smith. Webster and Lewis wait deep, and Cornell Webster takes it on about the 5-yard line. Trying to get outside. Skips out of bounds around the 25-yard line, chased out by Roland James.
You see him switch the ball on the right arm to the left arm, which was really a good move, because that meant that if he got hit, he was not going to get hit where the football was located. Put the ball away from where the pressure's coming from.
Notice that Cornell Webster, like any good modern player, knew where the camera was, looked back, and flashed a smile for his mother. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is KING-TV, Seattle.
From the 25, first and 10 for Jim Zorn and the Seahawks. 9:51 to play in the first half. Tied at 10. Jodat is his lone setback. He fakes the give to him, and he goes right back up on top. Almost intercepted by Tim Fox. Intended for Steve Largent once again.
Jim Zorn wanted to do exactly what Grogan did just a moment ago, and that's play action, a fake, and go up top. But Fox was there. He was there all along. He was watching that ball. He was not taken in by the fake. That's why the running game is so important, because if you do these play action fakes and you don't have any running game at all, the defensive backs aren't going to pay any attention to the fake.
You loved to go with that play action during your career, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but I had a great offensive line that provided holes, and the running backs were able to run, and we established the running game.
Second down, 10 yards to go from the 25. And again, they have trouble on the snap. Whistles blow, flags fly. They lost the football on their second play from scrimmage when Yarno and Zorn had troubles. There is no fumble on this play, as the whistle killed the play. And let's see what Pat Haggerty and his crew decide.
Illegal procedure, Seattle.
The Seahawks will be hit for illegal procedure, which is better than losing the ball on a fumble. It'll be second down and 15 after Haggerty walks this one off.
Can you read lips?
Ball start, number 78, offense.
Bob Newton, offensive right guard, number 78.
So second and long yardage, 15 yards needed by Zorn and the Seahawks. Pushed back to their own 20-yard line. Three wide receivers, McCullum, second-year man Jesse Green, and Largent are in there now. They keep it on the ground with Jim Jodat. Jodat gets about 3 yards. It'll be third and long. Julius Adams and Ray Sugar Bear Hamilton combined on the stop.
Trying to get a quick trap up the middle, get that back through there, and maybe pick up that first down, or at least pick up enough yardage where you're not in a long passing situation like they are right now. Third and 12 to go.
Seattle shuttling their plays in and out with the wide receivers. So now Jesse Green goes out, and Steve Rabel comes in as the third receiver, joining Largent and McCullum. Bill Courier is in as the nickelback for New England.
New England shows 11 men up near that line of scrimmage up there, and they fake a blitz a lot of the time, hoping to...
Well, Julius Adams had him by his throwing arm, and there was nothing Zorn could do.
No, had he been right-handed, he might have been able to get rid of the football, but 85 for New England. Julius Adams is going to get a hold of the left throwing arm or shoulder of Zorn, and it's all over right there.
An 8-yard loss and New England's first sack of Zorn today. Herman Weaver punting from deep in his own territory. They let it bounce. It takes a Seattle roll. And it will be downed at about the 45-yard line. So New England has good field position at their own 45. A decent punt by Weaver, counting the roll, 40 yards. Next Saturday on NBC Sports, it's Major League Baseball as the Montreal Expos battle the Phillies or the Cincinnati Reds take on Houston. It starts at 2 Eastern Time. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Clock reads 8:44 to play in quarter number 2. The last time Grogan had his hands on it, he went 68 yards to Morgan for a touchdown. Grogan again over the middle. It was deflected and nearly intercepted by a diving Keith Butler. Manu Tuiasosopo was the man who got his hand on Grogan's pass.
Grogan just got that ball away, but flying down the middle of the field, number 29 was Harold Jackson. And had Grogan put that ball up in the air, it would have been an opportunity for Jackson to come up with it. Man on man down there deep. Nothing like a pass rush to disrupt the passing game. Quarterback must have the time to throw. Must have the time to let the patterns develop, to work on the defensive backs.
Steve Grogan, who is starting his 68th consecutive game today. That is the longest present streak of any NFL quarterback. Goes on the draw to Don Calhoun. A huge hole opens up. Calhoun fumbles as he's hit. It's scooped up, though, by Stanley Morgan, who was right there. And it turns into a 15 or 16-yard gain.
Zorn has tried quick traps and draw plays. Here is the draw play. As you can see, Calhoun straight ahead. A missed tackle by Seattle, and now it's straight ahead, and he picked up the first down. The ball flies loose, and it's fortunate that Stanley Morgan was right there. Had that been a blue shirt, then it would have been Seattle's ball. 17-yard gain.
We move down to the 8-minute mark. And the Patriots threaten again with Jackson in motion from the 38 of Seattle on first down. Vegas Ferguson trying to run wide. Can't get it done. John Harris came up from his free safety spot to meet him.
Good play by John Harris, number 44 of Seattle. Making...
That would be easier.
Manu.
New England has a running back on their roster named Mosi Tatupu. Now, if he should come into the game and be tackled by Tuiasosopo, I'm going to leave all of that to you.
We'll have to revert back to numbers.
Ferguson got 3 on the sweep before Harris stopped him. 2nd and 7 from the 35.
False start. John Hanna, number 73, false start. That'll cost him 5 yards. Definitely put them in a passing situation now. It will be now 2nd and 12.
Hanna was anxious to fire off the ball against Tuiasosopo. San Diego at Mile High Stadium comes in there, and in the second quarter they grab the lead against the Broncos.
False start, number 73, offense.
In that San Diego-Denver game, Dan fouls to Charlie Joyner. 23-yard touchdown pass.
2nd and 12, 40.
Speaking of passing, Steve Grogan is faced with that situation right now.
Horace Ivory and Mosi Tatupu are in, with Ferguson and Calhoun out. And here is Ivory. Smack into the middle of the defense. Loose football. Let's see how quickly they gave the whistle. No, they say we'll bring it right back here. It is not Seattle ball. Ivory fumbled after the whistle.
Whenever that ball carrier has that ball in his arms and he hits the turf, and that ball pops loose, right there he hit it and the ball popped loose, then it is not a fumble. But it was a good play by Seattle because they stuffed him. Still 3rd down and 12 situation. Another passing situation for Steve Grogan. He wants another first down because at the 40 you're out of field goal range for John Smith right now. They need at least another first down.
Andy Johnson and Chuck Foreman, the receiving threats among the running back corps for Ron Earhart, are in there now. They need 12 yards on 3rd down. Grogan manages to scramble away from Bill Gregory and heaves one out deep. And it is caught. by Stanley Morgan for his second touchdown. What an escape job by Grogan. And a 40-yard touchdown strike to Stanley Morgan, his fourth touchdown of the year, his second touchdown of this game, and New England has gone in front 16-10.
We talked about Steve Grogan and his ability for big plays. He is flushed out of the pocket. This is a 3rd and 12 situation. He has to throw. He gets flushed out of the pocket. 77, Bill Gregory. And this is an outstanding throw on the run, going to his left. And he gets nailed as soon as he throws it. He knows that. Stanley Morgan right there, concentrating, coming up with another big play, a touchdown. He's caught 2 balls, the last 2 balls. One was 68 yards, this one 40 yards. So 2 catches, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Stanley Morgan.
Not a bad day, even if he doesn't do another thing. Smith will try and add the 17th point with 6:31 to play until halftime out of Kavanaugh's hole. And the Englishman is perfect with it. Tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central and Mountain, don't miss the season premiere of Chips as Punch ends up over his head to save a woman from a watery grave. Then at 8 Eastern, 7 Central and Mountain, it's James Michener's Centennial. Robert Conrad and Richard Chamberlain star in one of the biggest movies ever made. Heck of a week for Richard Chamberlain. First Shogun, and now Centennial. Chips and Centennial will be seen 1 hour earlier than originally scheduled due to the presidential debate. On the West Coast, you will see the debate live at 7, followed by Chips at 8 and Centennial at 9 on NBC.
Bob, that last play, 3rd and 12 situation, even I think had it been intercepted, it was a good play by Grogan because he was out of field goal range. He escaped. They threw that ball down there, and there was a lot of luck involved in that touchdown pass to Stanley Morgan. But even had it been intercepted, undoubtedly they would have been the man who intercepted would have been tackled down that area, and that would have been just as good as a punt. As it was, very fortunate for New England.
You know, Stanley Morgan early this week was listed as questionable on the injury sheet for the New England Patriots with a calf muscle pull, but he has come on to perform magnificently. And on the kick, the ball is bobbled, but then picked up, and Jeff Moore quickly is driven back. Hit on the play by Larry McGrew. About a 10-yard return. And
they're explaining things right there, how that all took place. But here's great scrambling by Steve Grogan. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket by 77 Gregory. Now he's going to his left, and he's going to have to throw the ball on the run. Tuiasosopo nails him as he throws it. But here's what I was talking about. Even if the ball had been intercepted down by the goal line, it would have been a good play because they would have had to punt the ball on 4th down. The Seahawks have watched a 10-3 lead turn into a 17-10 deficit. Jodat carries, spins off some tacklers, and picks up good yardage. Got about 8 or 9 on the play. It'll be 2nd and short. I believe that's a first down play, a running play that they've been successful with. 5 plays, 55 yards, 2 minutes and 13 seconds, but it only took 1 throw from Grogan to Stanley Morgan. He's thrown twice to Stanley Morgan here of late, resulted in 2 touchdowns.
68 and then 40 yards. 5:45 to play until halftime. We expected a high-scoring, wide-open game. We haven't been disappointed. Jodat carries again, looking for the first down, needed about a yard. Julius Adams met him. And let's see where they spot this.
They're giving him the first down. His momentum was ahead of the sticks.
So it is first down at the 29 with the clock moving down to 5:20. At halftime, we'll get you up to date on all the scores. Many finals are in. And the games played earlier on the East Coast. We'll catch you up to date as well on San Diego and Denver. Big AFC West battle. Broncos had to be riding high following their big victory last week over Dallas. But San Diego, at last report, had a 17-6 lead in the second quarter. Zorn to the air and overthrows Sam McCullum.
Sam was open. That ball was just thrown too high and too far. Not a good throw by Jim Zorn. Ball been down. Sam McCullum had about 3 or 4 yards to split between he and the defensive man.
Zorn and McCullum talking it over. Now McCullum goes out, replaced by Steve Rabel, who checks in with the play from the sideline. Jerry Rome is upstairs. He relays it through the headsets to Howard Mudd, who is on the sidelines, one of the other assistant coaches to Jack Patera. And Mudd then gives it to one of the wide receivers or sometimes a tight end who runs the play in.
And all of that takes time. Sometimes you don't have that much time, particularly if you have to audibilize at the line of scrimmage.
Zorn on 2nd and 10. Pass deflected. It was intended for Jeff Moore out of the backfield. It'll be 3rd and 10. Larry McGrew, who came in as an extra linebacker, a rookie from USC, their 2nd-round draft choice, made the defensive play.
And he was in position. Good play.
McGrew, number 50.
It's tough when you always come up with these 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12 situations. That's why, as I said before, that first down play is so important.
Seattle facing 3rd and 10 from the 29. 3 wide receivers, Largent, Rabel, and McCullum. Zorn unloads through the hands of McCullum. It'll be 4th down. And McCullum was thrown down hard by Ray Claiborne and takes exception to it.
Zorn back in the pocket. Looks like he has good time to survey the defense. Time to throw the football. He can step and fire. The ball was slightly behind, right there, behind McCullum. Had the ball been out in front of him, it would have been an easy catch. But the end part is what McCullum didn't like.
Herman Weaver is going to try to put the ball up in the air on the punt situation, and it was an interception. It would have been New England ball in any case had the ball dropped incomplete, but it was intercepted by Roland James. Now let's see if we can get another look at that. Herman Weaver last season attempted 4 passes out of punt formation and completed 3 of them. Now they're saying that the pass was incomplete.
In any case,
The Baltimore-Houston game to the Budweiser NFL Report. Brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this but's for you. Good afternoon again. Studio running down.
A little bit of a jump on that passing situation.
Told you Kelvin Clark, 73, has replaced Studdard at tackle. Bubble! And it goes right to Clark, and they're going to call that a pass, apparently. No,
it's a quick whistle. Dick, that's, again, the enforcement of the new rule. In the referee's judgment, he was clearly in control, although that's an awfully quick whistle. Dejournay, number 73. He and Dean are alternating over there and getting tremendous pressure from the right side, working on Dave Studdard, number 70, who has been a consistent performer for these Broncos.
We welcome you fans who've been watching the Patriots and the Seahawks from Seattle. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen at Mile High Stadium. The San Diego Chargers, with 3 turnovers, have turned all 3 of those into touchdowns and have taken a 24-6 lead over the favored hometown Broncos. We're at the 2-minute warning. We'll be right back with Denver deep in its own end. Fred Dean getting a little cramps, huh? Cramps for Fred Dean.
Pay a price.
That have been following our action, that have been with the Patriots, and the Seahawks in Seattle are still with us, and we're pleased that you're able to pick up the last 2 minutes of this first half. Recapping the scoring for you, Ralph Benerska hit a 53-yard field goal, breaking his own record set last week to start the scoring. Seinfeld kicked a 51-yarder. It was tied 3-3 at the end of the first quarter. 3 touchdowns for San Diego here in the second quarter. Preceding announcement was furnished by the National Football League for those of you who had gone away for that last announcement, and we were pleased to earlier this week to speak to the United Way folks in Las Vegas, who are doing a great job raising money. We understand we have technical problems in that game in Seattle, and that's why you fans have been switched to this contest. We're working feverishly, of course, to make corrections, and as soon as technical difficulties have been cleared, you'll be back watching the game, you Patriot fans in New England, as well as you Seattle fans up in the Northwest. Here, it's Matt Robinson in a hole. He's at his own 5-yard line, second down and 25. And he trails 24-6. Dave Preston breaking a tackle to 10 to 20. Fine run at 20 yards by Preston. Finally knocked down by Willie Buchanan. Short of the first down, it'll be 3rd and 5. The clock is running at 1:45 first half.
The entire San Diego defense expecting the pass, taken by surprise on that. We've noticed that Paul Howard, number 60, taken into the dressing room. Glenn Hyde in his place. We hope he's not hurt seriously.
Ball at the 30, complete, and I believe complete for a first down to Preston. Hit by Woody Lowe, and Preston injured on the play. Time has been called. 1:28 left. That time I will be charged to Denver. The score here in Denver is 24-6. San Diego leading the Denver Broncos. The Chargers, who have lost 11 in a row playing in Denver, trying to turn that around. And for those of you, New England, Seattle, we switch you back to the Kingdome.
We return to the Kingdome. We understand we had some technical problems. We apologize for that. Apparently now cleared up. Bob Costas with Len Dawson. We have 3 minutes and 32 seconds to play in the first half. Seattle is moving the ball. They're at the 48-yard line of New England. The Patriots lead at 17-10, and a huge hole opens up for Jim Jodak. Jodak down to around the 22-yard line before he was shoved out of bounds by Rick Sanford.
Bob, that's the old sucker play where they send that back up through the middle and don't even block one of the defensive linemen. A big gapping hole for the running back, Jodat. I think that's the first one that he has seen today, picking up big yardage. They're right now in field goal position. Good enough to come away with at least 3 points in this ball game. 26 yards on that carry.
And the Seahawks looking for the tying touchdown from the 22 of New England. Zorn dropping back, a deep drop, and a heave for the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Sam McCollum.
Boy, I'll tell you, when you talk about timing, this is it. He threw that ball long before McCollum ever made his move. It was a good move by McCollum. He is wide open. 38 Roland James was trying to be there, but nowhere near it. Touchdown. And they can tie this ball game up right now if Herrera can get it through the uprights.
McCollum's third touchdown catch of the season. He's caught one in each game so far.
That was really great timing between the receiver and the quarterback. The ball was thrown well before he made his final cut.
Herrera tries to tie it. You see it coming right at you as he does. 3 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the second quarter at the Kingdome in Seattle, and we are tied in a game that has been just the sort that we expected, 17 apiece. Both Zorn and Grogan have connected for 2 touchdown passes. Zorn has found Largent and now McCollum. Grogan twice has gone with big strikes to Stanley Morgan. And each field goal kicker has 1 3-pointer. Herrera for Seattle and John Smith for New England. Thursday at 8 Eastern Time, it's games people play. This week you'll see the New Orleans tug of war, the stunt of the week, the OMAC suicide race, gymnastics with Bart Connor, and an exciting segment on juggling, plus more. That's games people play Thursday night on NBC at 8 Eastern Time. Fireman versus the policeman in the New Orleans tug of war.
You know, we said before this game ever got started that we expected fireworks because these quarterbacks make things happen. They're very exciting. And it is really coming through. Grogan on a couple of plays, and particularly the last one to Stanley Morgan, a great job of scrambling to get the ball to him.
Herrera tees it up, and Horace Ivory waits deep. at 17. And Herrera's kick is away. Ivory inside the 5. Ivory skipping across the 20-yard line to the 23, and that's where they will mark it. New England will have 3 minutes and 5 seconds to try and break the 17-17 tie. The Patriots have had some problems with their kick return game early this season. Alan Clark is on the injured reserve list with a broken thumb. He has to remain there for at least 2 more games. Last year he did a great job of returning kicks for New England and was named the Patriots Rookie of the Year. In his absence, they've juggled some people using both Preston Brown and now Horace Ivory.
Didn't take him long for Seahawks to score. 4 plays, 80 yards.
Don Calhoun and Horace Ivory are the running backs behind Grogan. It's Don Calhoun who carries. And cannot break out of the grasp of Michael Jackson.
I say he really nailed it. Big hit by Jackson. No one touched him, met him right at the line of scrimmage. A good hit.
No gain, 2nd and 10. Clock moving, 2:42 showing. New England has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. The Seahawks have twice had to call time because of confusion at the line of scrimmage. They have only 1 left.
2nd and 9 at the 24.
Terry Beeson is out at middle linebacker, replaced by Joe Norman. Norman, a better pass defender, second-year man from Indiana. In motion, Harold Jackson. Carrying Vegas Ferguson. Tries to cut back against the grain. Sheds 1 tackler, but not another. It was Horace Ivory, not Vegas Ferguson. I apologize. Michael Jackson made the tackle.
For the most part, Seattle has done really an outstanding job defending the rushing game of New England.
John Smith gets ready just in case New England can get into field goal position in the final 2 minutes. We have reached the 2-minute warning. We'll come back to the Kingdome in just a moment. It'll be 3rd down and 6 for Grogan, and the Patriots tied at 17. The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. While we were away because of technical problems and switched to San Diego at Denver, some of you may have seen Luke Prestige injured in that game. We get a report from Mile High Stadium that Prestige is okay.
A baseball note. George Brett in his quest for 400 is 1 for 4. He's down to 394 with that's in the 7th inning. Oakland leading Kansas City 6-3.
George went 0 for 4 last night, 1 for 4 so far today, down to 394. From the 27 on 3rd and 6. Grogan looking and throwing, but not connected. Intended for Stanley Morgan, and he drew a crowd sandwiched by John Harris and Will Lewis. 4th down, and Hubach will have to come on to punt. Hubach, as we mentioned, had been booming them for an average of almost 45 yards a game through the first 2 games of his rookie year. He was an 11th round draft choice out of Kansas. He took the #1 punting job away from Eddie Hare this year. Hare had not performed especially well last season. As a matter of fact, the Pats ranked last in the NFL in punting. So far today, Hubach has not kicked them very long. This one is grabbed by Will Lewis, then bobbled by Will Lewis. It squirts out of bounds, and luckily so. It is still Seattle ball, and there's a flag down on the play.
36-yard punt.
A 36-yard kick by Hubach, which is a bit better than what he had been averaging in the first half.
He'd only been kicking around 31 to 32 yards per kick.
Hello, Pat Haggerty.
We have an illegal bat. Illegal bat.
Did he say bat?
Illegal bat. Apparently what Lewis did after he fumbled the ball, he couldn't grasp it, but he didn't want New England to have a crack at it, so he smacked it out of bounds, and that's illegal.
Well, he got his hands all twisted around. That was a good play on his part. Get that ball out of there.
And a
because
good call by
he
the
wouldn't have
official.
had it. New England would have had that football.
So this is going to push them back to around the 25 with 1 minute and 47 seconds remaining in the half. The ball game tied at 17.
You take a look at the flags on the 40-yard line, and they're now nestled on the 25-yard line. How big that play was. Now how important is it that they had to give up 2 timeouts here with 1:47 remaining? That's why in a situation like this, I'd love to see a quarterback call his own plays because he can get things moving. he can get that rhythm going, get them in and out of that huddle, get them up to the line of scrimmage, and get them moving. But when you have to wait for a play to come from the sidelines, it takes time and you lose your concentration.
Had Lewis handled that punt cleanly, even with no run back, Seattle would have been in a position where a couple of first downs would have put them very close to field goal range.
They're doing a lot of discussing out there. They've got 4 officials in a little huddle over there, 4 or 5 of them. Zorn's got a hold of another one. But this man is going to explain it all to us.
Have an illegal back. First down.
Change are coming.
Okay, so much for that. As I said before, an illegal bat.
I'm sure that part of the sellout crowd at the Kingdome remains thoroughly confused. From the 25, 1st and 10. Zorn with the play fake, which fooled the cameraman, but apparently not the Patriots.
No, they're not looking for any run. They're not even worried about it. He was trying to get a screen pass going, but the linebackers and the defensive backs, they're playing pass right now. Run is secondary to them. The defensive linemen, they're on their mind is get to Zorn, get to the quarterback, and make sure you keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get outside. Zorn and Grogan, both of them are very dangerous when they get outside the pocket.
On 2nd and 10 from the 25. Clock stops with 1:42 remaining. And the completion to Jeff Moore. John Zamberlin wraps him up. And let's see if Seattle uses their last remaining timeout.
Timeout. New England.
I'm surprised
Number
they did
1.
that. I'm really surprised they did that with 1:33 remaining, and they do not have the first down. It's still 3rd down and 3 yards to go.
So it's New England rather than Seattle, which stops the clock with 1:33 left. 3rd and 3 it will be from the 32. Next Sunday on NBC Sports, you can kick off Week 4 of the NFL season with exciting doubleheader action. Start your day with NFL 80 and host Bryant Gumbel. Then most of you will see the Oakland Raiders battle the Buffalo Bills, and then at 4 p.m. the Seattle Seahawks take on the Washington Redskins. Plus there are other regional games all next Sunday here on NBC Sports. Check your listings for the games in your area.
New England took that timeout. I thought that was Seattle. In any case, New England is guessing or gambling that they are going to stop them on 3rd down. That's a pretty good gamble because it's just 3 yards to go, and Zorn's going to go to the air. He's going to throw the football. And that could get Seattle's momentum going if they pick up the first down.
So the Patriots have 2 timeouts remaining, and the Seahawks have 1. Both these clubs are 1-1 on the season. Seattle opened and was beaten rather badly by San Diego. And then they followed up and eked out a 1-point win at Kansas City. After leading 17-0, they watched the Chiefs come back and cut it to 17-16, but that is where Seattle held and won it by a point. New England, on the other hand, won over Cleveland, which was expected to be a tough one. Then the next week, they were a big favorite against Atlanta, and the Falcons came into New England and riddled their secondary. A great day for Steve Bartkowski, and Atlanta upset them. So both clubs are looking to break out to a 2-1 record with a victory today. Jim Jodat carries, needing 3 yards, and he is stopped short of it. Julius Adams made the tackle. Let's see if New England takes another timeout. They do. They'll have 1 left, and they'll get the ball back on a Herman Weaver punt with 1 minute and 25 seconds left.
They gambled right because they stopped them.
Timeout. New England, number 2.
They've got 1 timeout remaining, and the way the ball has been kicked today, it hasn't been going very far. The good possibility that New England could get that football in excellent field position.
The last time Weaver went back in punt formation, they faked the punt, and Weaver tried to complete a pass. The play did not come off as planned, and it set New England up at the 29-yard line of the Seahawks after the incompletion on 4th down. Fortunately for Seattle, Dave Brown immediately intercepted a pass in the end zone to negate the threat for New England. Weaver likely will be more conventional in this case. Preston Brown is waiting deep. He wears number 87, and he's standing at the 25-yard line of New England. Number 18, Herman Weaver, who had been averaging 42.5 through 2 games. Coming in today, gets it away in good shape. Takes a high bounce, and Brown on the run back to the 30, 32, 33-yard line, and that's where New England will have it. Clock stopping with 1:13 left. Cornell Webster made the tackle, number 38, and New England has one timeout, and they are 67 yards away from pay dirt.
That was a 40-yard kick, but it wasn't a very pretty kick. Fortunate that that ball bounced before the receiver had an opportunity to get it. If he had gotten it on the fly, he would have been on the move. But with New England and the great firepower that they have, particularly in their wide receivers, Morgan and Jackson, you know, we have yet to see Russ Francis get his hands on the football in this football game in the first half. And he is considered the best tight end in the business.
A great blocker, but also a very capable receiver who has caught 39 passes in each of the last 2 seasons, but they haven't thrown to him so far today. He's number 81, lined up tight on the right side. Here's Grogan. Well, that was prophetic, Mr. Dawson. Francis makes the catch, gets out of bounds to stop the clock, just shy of the first down. Well, let's see where they'll spot it.
I think that would be about a 9-yard gain. It'll be less than a yard to go for the first down. But the important thing for New England, they stopped the clock. 1:07 remaining in the first half.
Just a few more plays like that, and they'll be within range for John Smith. Smith's longest field goal in his career was a 49-yarder. That came in 1976. So he does not have the strength of leg that some other kickers have. He's very accurate, though, 67% for his career.
Well, he led the National Football League in points scored a year ago. So what Grogan wants to do is get him within his range.
There he is. He had 115 points in 1979 after missing almost all of the 78 season with a leg injury.
He knows what pressure is. He's hoping they score a touchdown.
They need a yard for the first down. Andy Johnson is pulled down on the play. Michael Jackson and Robert Hardy combined on the tackle. It'll be third down and again a yard to go.
That was really a good play because they kept him in bounds.
Grogan tries to sneak for it, bumps into his center, Pete Brock, but keeps on going. And gets the first down. They have not yet used their one remaining timeout. The ball is at midfield with 33 seconds remaining. A flag flies as Grogan drops back, and his pass is incomplete. That stops the clock with 29 seconds left, intended for Andy Johnson. Let's see what the penalty will be.
I'm sure it'll be against New England. No, it's against Seattle.
So the Seahawks are offsides. The Patriots will pick up 5 yards to about the 45 of Seattle.
Offside defense.
First down and now 5 yards to go.
What they're fighting right now, that clock, 29 seconds remaining, one timeout remaining for each ball club.
Morgan to the right, Jackson to the left.
All right, they'll take that 5 yards back. That'll be against New England.
Yeah, Don Hasselbeck jumped off on the left side.
The tight end can move and get back in position.
So the whistle never should have blown. There's no play there. Grogan pumps deep, and it's almost intercepted in the hands of John Harris, but he couldn't hold on.
Well, I don't know where else you can hit him to catch the ball except right in the numbers. Grogan, that was a poor decision on his part to throw that ball right down the middle of the field because the only one there was number 44, John Harris.
Just to explain the previous play again, Hasselbeck did jump off. There was no contact made. He came back. The whistle should not have blown. There should not have been a penalty. Pat Haggerty, realizing that, simply called it, as we used to in the playground, a do-over.
A do-over.
Now we've got 2nd and 5 from the 45 with 22 seconds left. New England still has the one timeout remaining. We're tied at 17 apiece. We were tied at 3 at the end of the first quarter as Smith and Herrera traded field goals. Each quarterback has thrown 2 touchdown passes in the second quarter. To the sideline, that's a good play. Foreman gets out of bounds and stops the clock inside the 40. That gives them the first down, I believe.
Right there.
Ron Earhart has said of Chuck Foreman at Minnesota, they built their offense around him. Here in New England, we just simply want him to be a part of our offense.
Well, he has really always been an outstanding pass receiver coming out of that backfield. And I'm sure that that's what they hope that he will lend to the Patriots along with Andy Johnson on a third down situation to get two fine receivers in the backfield.
17 seconds and one timeout remaining for New England. And a leaping catch by Andy Johnson. He dives for the sideline, and that stops the clock. 10 seconds left after an 11-yard gain.
That was an outstanding catch by Andy Johnson. He made one earlier in the first half that enabled the Patriots for a first down. Now they're getting in the range of John Smith. There right now, they need, I think, a little more yards because this would be, if they had to kick it from there, about a 47-yard field goal.
They have 10 seconds remaining. Grogan pumps it and completes it to Jackson. They've got to call the timeout. 2 seconds on the clock, and they stop it. Keith Simpson made the tackle, and this should be a much easier one now for John Smith. Boy, they really ran that time-saving offense in great shape.
They did a great job. And what
New England, number 3.
the reason that worked is because Grogan had plenty of time to let his receivers work downfield. Credit that offensive line, and of course Grogan really fired that ball. It was a good throw. Now they're definitely in Smith's range. That was good for 16 yards. Grogan to Harold Jackson.
They're going to place this down at about the 20.
That would mean a 30-yard field goal with the goal post at the back of the end zone.
Smith is 1 for 1 today, 3 for 3 on the season. Kavanaugh to hold. Pete Brock to snap. Last play of the first half. And John Smith sends the New England Patriots into the locker room with the lead. 20-17 on his second field goal of the day. He had one from 19 yards, which gave them a 3-0 lead in the first quarter. He hits this one from 30 as a
explosive. Grogan has thrown for 180 yards, Zorn 181 yards. So it's very tight. 20-17. Seattle's going to get the ball.
Grogan is 10 of 17 after the first 2 quarters. Zorn is 12 of 25. They have each thrown for 2 touchdowns. You know, a lot of people think of Steve Grogan as a guy who's been around forever, since he started his first time for the Patriots like 5 or 6 years ago, and yet he's only in his 6th season, and he's only 27 years old with all that experience behind him, just coming into his prime. Kubac to kick off, and a very, very short kick, which is grabbed by Will Lewis. Lewis taking it outside and finding some running room, and Lewis powers his way out to the 37-yard line. Good field position for Seattle. Bob Golick, the Notre Dame product, made the stop for the Patriots.
Very high but very short kick. Lewis coming up, and some good blocking by his teammates right there. And the out-contained man for New England let him get outside, and that enabled him to get excellent field position around the 37-yard line.
Sherman Smith and Dan Dornick are the running backs behind Zorn. First play from scrimmage in the third quarter. New England 20 and Seattle 17. Bob Costas with Len Dawson at the Kingdom. Sawyer, the tight end, is in motion. Zorn will pass on first down. Sam Berlin in pursuit, but he gets it away on the run and completes it to Dornick, who makes the diving catch.
Jim Zorn can scramble with that football. Now he is being pursued. Fortunately, he has excellent speed. He's being pursued by a linebacker, and he just gets the ball off. Hits it right on the money between 2 defensive ends. That was an excellent play. 9-yard gain, so it's 2nd and 1 now, which makes it very easy to call plays. He can do anything that he wants to out there.
Rabel and Largent, both wide receivers on the left side. Dornick and Smith line up in an I. Here comes Largent in motion. They give it to Sherman Smith, who is brought down for a loss by Julius Adams. Now it'll be 3rd down and about 3.
I'm surprised they ran that type of a play because that took a long time in developing. I thought it was going to be a play pass. Situation like that, most of the time you want to bang in there in a hurry because you don't want the defensive lineman to get penetration. Julius Adams did an excellent job of doing just that. So now they're facing a situation where they've got about 3 yards to go now.
3 wide receivers, Largent, Rabel, and McCullum. From just shy of their own 45-yard line. The Seahawks try and cross them up with the run, but Julius Adams again is there. Sherman Smith is brought down short, and Weaver will have to come in and kick it away.
Well, that's tough there. You had a 2nd and 1 situation and end up with 2 running plays and lose yardage on it. Don't come up with the first down.
Minutes and 55 seconds to play, third quarter. And they may decide to go for it.
Well, the offensive unit is still in the football game.
So they will not bring Herman Weaver out. They will go for it on 4th and a long one. Ron Essing, who normally plays tackle, is in as a second tight end along with Sawyer. They need a long yard. Dornick trying to nudge his way there, and it all depends upon where they spot it. It's very, very close.
Well, that's another long developing running play. He's taking the pitch out and coming back to his fullback. The official wants the change to come on, I believe.
As they peel away, it looks from here like they might be short. But it is very close. New England has stopped them. They had 2nd and 1. They took 3 cracks at it. They come up a few inches short, and the Patriots have the ball in Seahawk territory at the 47.
Here it is. Zorn is faking sort of a pitch out. There's no one there. Slow developing to come up to that line of scrimmage, so they came up short. That is really a big play for both sides, because for Seattle, they needed a little momentum going, some drive going. They end up 2nd and 1 and can't even come up with a first down after 3 shots at it.
So Steve Grogan now will try to add to the 3-point lead, and let's see if he goes for big points right away. No, he doesn't. Hands to Vegas Ferguson, who breaks a couple of tackles and turns it into about an 8-yard gain. John Harris, the free safety, made the stop.
Ferguson, number 43. Coming up, and there's a good hole there. Coming up with 8-yard gain. Really got nailed there by 44 John Harris. But now it's a situation where it's 2nd and 2, much like Seattle was in just a moment ago.
From the 39 of the Seahawks. Another sellout at the Kingdome. Almost 65,000 tickets sold for this one. Ferguson trying to take it outside. Keith Butler in pursuit. And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is KING-TV, Seattle.
Bob Costas with Len Dawson at the Kingdome. The Seahawks trailing the Patriots by 3, and New England trying to add some more to that. This is a 3rd down play, and they need less than a yard to keep their drive alive.
You have to assume here this is a true play situation. If they don't make it on 3rd down, I'm sure they probably go for it on 4th.
11:39 to play in the 3rd quarter. Tupu in motion. They've got the first down as Calhoun vaults over the pack. Stopped by Michael Jackson, but too late.
That was the difference between that type of play and the plays Seattle was running. The ones that Seattle was running was more of a delayed play and gave the defensive lineman an opportunity to get some penetration, which they did. That play, get that ball to that back as quickly as you possibly can, as deep in the backfield as you possibly can, so that he has the opportunity to go up and over, and that's what happened that time.
Don Calhoun, who got that first down, is in his 7th season. Gets a chance to start this year with Sam Cunningham, still embroiled in that contract dispute with the Patriots. 4 Patriot players: Sam Cunningham, backup quarterback Tom Owen, Richard Bishop, and this is Calhoun again. Another good run. Calhoun down to the 25-yard line before Dave Brown got him.
11-yard gain for Calhoun. Now things have changed right now. That line of scrimmage is being controlled by New England. A good hole, good blocking Vegas Ferguson, the back, made a good block, picking up 11 yards, another first down. This is what the Patriots want to do. They want to establish that running game, control the line of scrimmage, and then throw the ball with play-action passes.
I'll tell you more about those holdouts in just a moment when we have time. Vegas Ferguson carries on first down, gets about 3. Sam Cunningham, Tom Owen, Richard Bishop, and most importantly, defensive back Mike Haynes, all unsigned by the Patriots, and apparently very little progress towards signing them. So Ron Earhart will do without those 4 in all likelihood for the entire 1980 season. Second down, and let's call it 7.
Uh-oh.
Hold everything here. Francis jumped off sides.
Pat Hardy, number 75 of Seattle, tried to tear Vegas Ferguson's head off. They'll refuse that penalty if they have a choice, I'm sure.
Illegal motion, offense, decline.
Yes. Refuse that penalty because it was about a 3-yard loss, 3 to 4-yard loss. Matter of fact, 6-yard loss. So they'd have been better off if he'd have jumped off sides a lot sooner. It just cost them 5 yards.
Brings up third down and 12 with 13 yards to go. 9:54 remaining in the quarter. Johnson and Foreman are in the backfield. Passing situation. 5 defensive backs for Seattle. Brogan with his drop to the sideline. Let's see if Jackson was inbounds when he made the catch.
Give him credit for making the catch because that was an outstanding catch, but both feet not inbounds.
So Jackson's effort goes for naught. It's fourth down, the ball at the 27, and Smith will come in to attempt about a 44-yard field goal. He's 2 for 2 so far today, but this will be his longest attempt. He's hit from 19, and then on the last play of the first half from 30. Kavanaugh is his holder. Kneeling at the 34. It is a 44-yard attempt. This one has the distance, but it is wide to the right. So Smith got enough leg into it, but not the direction. We have 9 minutes and 44 seconds to play in quarter number 3, and the score remains New England 20 and Seattle 17. We'll return to the Kingdome in Seattle in just a moment. A huddle along the sidelines. Ron Earhart looking in. That's Earhart wearing the white T-shirt. His arms outstretched. Rogan there, Francis, and the backup quarterback, Matt Kavanaugh. Patriots had an opportunity when they took over on downs in Seattle territory a moment ago, but they couldn't produce any points out of it. It remains a 20-17 game, and Zorn goes to the air with the play fake, and now the scramble. And he eludes a group of tacklers, tucks it in, takes off, and gets out of bounds.
We talk about being exciting. This young man is exactly that. He turned a disastrous situation where he could have been nailed for about a 10 to 15-yard loss right now because of his quickness and his speed into about a 9-yard gain. Here's the speed coming into it right now. Get as much as you possibly can. Get out of bounds. Good play by Zorn. He's done that about 3 or 4 times this afternoon.
Brings up second down and 1, which is exactly the situation they faced on their last possession and wound up taking 3 cracks at it and coming up empty.
I bet they go straight at it now. Yes, they do.
They do, and Dornick has the first down to the 41.
He picked up 5 yards on that play. Hit it quickly like that so that the defensive linemen do not have an opportunity to get that penetration. As big as Dornick is, he's going to pick up that yard. But when you have a delayed play, then you're giving the defense an opportunity to get good penetration. That's what happened the last time when they came up short on a short yardage situation.
John Sawyer, number 81, the tight end on the right side, just checked in with the play for Zorn on 1st and 10 from the 41. Exactly 9 minutes to play in the third quarter. New England 20 and Seattle 17. Largent is in motion. Zorn is under pressure, gets away from Adams, fires, and it is dropped by McCollum. Would have been a tough catch, but he did have a crack at it and couldn't hold on.
Once again, Zorn threw that ball way before McCollum made his final move. He had to get rid of the football because they are putting pressure on Zorn. They're trying the play action faking on first down, which they have to do because their running game hasn't been very much at all this afternoon. They've had a couple of plays that they've had success on, but overall it hasn't been. If they ever get their running game going, they are going to be devastating. Because right now, defensively for New England, they're really not concerned about the running game of the Seahawks.
Seattle does not have a rushing touchdown so far this year. Neither have they piled up an impressive yardage total on the ground.
See, right now, you can forget about the play fake. They don't care about that.
And you can forget about Zorn in this situation. He dumped it off. We have a flag, and it might be intentional grounding. The only guy really close to that pass was his center, John Yarno, number 51.
That's what they're going to call intentionally grounding the football.
Intentional grounding, offense.
So that's where that play action comes in right there. The quarterback's back is to the line of scrimmage, and he can't see what's coming. They're blitzing him. It's 2nd and 10. They're not concerned about the run. They're flying after him. Now he's turning around. There's 3 or 4 of the defensive men around him. Now he's just getting rid of the ball. Throwing it in the direction of the offensive line.
Lost it down. Lost it down. So they lose both down and distance on the intentional grounding call. Dak Patera has reason to be concerned. It's 3rd and 20 from the 31. You know, you were making the point about Seattle's need to establish the ground game in addition to the great passing attack led by Zorn last week when Atlanta did a number on New England. William Andrews had 124 yards rushing, and Lynn Kane also had a good game. That complemented Wajkowski, who in turn went to work through the air and riddled the Patriots secondary.
You watch that defensive line tee off now.
Zorn has not had the luxury of the good ground game. He has thrown for 2 touchdowns. He needs 20. He's got a completion, but not the first down.
About a 9-yard gain. Jesse Green made a mistake in doing what a lot of young receivers do when they're catching the football in a situation like that. He left his feet. And it only stands to reason if your feet are up in the air, you can't go anyplace. The ideal thing is to come back and make that reception and just keep on moving. You might break that tackle. If you break the tackle, you might have an opportunity to pick up the first down.
Preston Brown, a rookie out of Vanderbilt, waits for the kick from Herman Weaver.
There he got one off.
This is the best boot by either punter today. It drives Brown back to the 15-yard line, and he breaks out of one tackle, but not another. Returns it about 6 yards to the 21. We'll credit the stop to Bill Cook. A 46-yard punt, a 7-yard return, 7:59 to play third quarter. New England with the ball and a 3-point lead.
This is Bryant Gumbel in New York. In Denver, the Broncos are trying to get back into it in relief of Robinson. Craig Morton, a touchdown pass of 15 yards to Haven Moses. Broncos still having a tough time. It's 30-13. Back to the Kingdome and Bob Costas.
All right, thank you, Bryant. The Patriots with the ball and trying to pad their 3-point advantage at the 21-yard line. 7:59 to play. Quarter number 3. Jackson in motion. Handoff to Ferguson. And a rude how do you do from Terry Beeson.
That's what he does best. Number 58, Terry Beeson. He is a hitter. He does very well against the running game. They take him out in a lot of passing situations. Just like right now, they're anticipating the pass because he doesn't cover as well as he does the running game. That time he really stuffed him.
And it's Joe Norman who comes in to replace him. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. Jackson goes right. Morgan goes left. We got a preview of the type of game this was going to be when these two clubs clashed in the last preseason game, which was nationally televised by NBC, and Seattle won 30-23. Here it's 20-17 in favor of New England. Ferguson makes the catch and is brought down by Dave Brown. Ferguson was an outstanding running back at Notre Dame, but they never threw to him that much, and he has confessed that he's concerned about that part of his game. He made the catch that time, though.
That's why they're bringing in a couple of men who are outstanding receivers. Andy Johnson, number 32, Chuck Foreman, number 22. This is their specialty. It's a 3rd down, 4 situation. This is a time when you look for those backs.
Seattle, expecting the pass, goes with their nickel defense again. That means Will Lewis, a rookie from Millersville State, has come in. Millersville State, by the way, is just outside Lancaster, Pennsylvania, for those of you like me who didn't know. Russ Francis makes the 3rd down catch. And he's out to around the 46-yard line of New England.
18 yards on the first down, tackled by Dave Brown.
They got 19 on this play, Lenny.
The middle generally is wide open for that tight end when they double the outside receivers. This is a good throw right on the money to number 81, Russ Francis. Now, this is just the second pass that he's caught in the ball game so far. Both of them resulted in first downs, but that is a man that you should use and use more often.
First and 10, 46.
We move inside, 6 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. And Ferguson gets the call again, following his blockers well. Ferguson reels off about a 7-yard gain. Make it 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
New England right now establishing that running game, doing something that they were unable to do in the first half, and that is run, particularly on first down. Coming up now in this situation where it's 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 3, it makes play calling so much better, so much easier.
Dwight Wheeler goes off. Wheeler, who normally starts at left tackle, did not start today. He was replaced by Gary Petts. Wheeler comes back into the game, has troubles again, and Petts returns as Wheeler goes off. On 2nd down, Ferguson has the first down and then some. Ferguson to around the 37-yard line. John Harris, the free safety, made the stop.
And also, I think Cornell Webster got kicked, and he got kicked on that play, and he's off. He is in pain at the present time, I can tell you that.
He is holding his right wrist. He broke that wrist late last season. Apparently, it's still bothering him, and he was hitting just the wrong way on that play. Here's Ferguson's run again.
Good blocking up front, and his own man hit him. Number 55, Jackson, hit it.
Grogan bootlegging, but he finds everything stuffed up, and down he goes. Bill Gregory, the 10-year veteran from Wisconsin, the elder statesman of the Seahawk defense, makes the tackle.
Well, they're trying the old bootleg play. Steve Grogan trying to go to his left. Bill Gregory, the seasoned veteran, number 77, didn't buy it. The man that they should try that on is the other side, that rookie, Jacob Green, because he's more apt to chase the flow of the backs than a seasoned veteran like Gregory.
2nd down and 9 for Grogan, who's 12 of 20 so far for 205 yards. He's the number 1 ranked passer after the first 2 weeks of the season in the league. He throws a bullet over the middle, and Francis outbattled John Harris for the catch.
I was saying they ought to throw the ball more often to number 81, Russ Francis, because that ball very easily could have been intercepted. The ball is thrown well. It's thrown hard by Grogan. Good pass protection. Francis just simply takes the ball away from number 44, John Harris. See right there, he's holding that ball up so that there's no question that he made the reception. Stanley Morgan, number 86, limping off the field.
They got 11 on that play. Carlos Pennywell, number 88, comes in to replace Morgan. Ferguson tries to go wide. The pursuit is good, and they drag him down. Jacob Green was there.
They were able to get outside. One of the reasons that they picked up a couple of yards, they picked up 4 on that play. Number 61, Sam Adams, offensive right guard. He was able to turn that corner around the right side. When that happens, when that guard turns the corner, that back is going to be right behind him, and you're going to pick up some yardage. So a 5-yard gain. Now it makes it 2nd and 5. Right now, New England has been controlling that line of scrimmage. They've been moving that ball on the ground very well. Francis coming up with a couple of big catches.
Ferguson goes out. Ivory is in to replace him. Ivory and Calhoun behind Grogan. 2.5 minutes to play in a thus far scoreless 3rd quarter. Calhoun cut down. It'll be 3rd down. And about about 2 or 3. Keith Simpson, the strong safety, gets credit for the tackle. The left linebacker, Michael Jackson, helped him.
Here's a situation now, 3 yards to go for a first down. Stanley Morgan, by the way, coming back in the ballgame. He limped off the field just the last play, but he's back in the huddle, coming in with the play. But they've been running with the football very well, so this is an excellent opportunity to run or one of those play-action passes.
It's 3rd down and 3.
I think maybe they're going to run because they did not bring in Foreman and Andy Johnson.
They've looked to Francis on 3rd down situations before. They try Ivory this time. He has the first down and the touchdown. Ivory goes 20 for the score, and the Patriots increase their lead to 26-17, the biggest advantage that either club has held so far.
The second half has been belonging to Vegas Ferguson. Here he cuts back. Good block by 61 Sam Adams. A couple of missed tackles, and it's all over. It's into the end zone. I said, who did I say that it was Ferguson? It was Horace Ivory, number 23. I'm sorry, Horace.
Horace and his fans back in Oklahoma will forgive you. They're happy enough right now. Smith can make it a 10-point lead out of Kavanaugh's hold as he looks for the 27th point. And there it is. The clock stops with 1 minute and 43 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. And New England has opened up the game's biggest lead. They're up by 10 over the Seahawks at the Kingdome. Cornell Webster is back in the game. You see that heavily bandaged right wrist. He broke it late last season, took a knock on it, which sent him to the sidelines briefly a few minutes ago. He's back in, and he fields this punt at the 5-yard line, this kick rather, from Kubac, and across the 20 to about the 22. Mike Hawkins was in on the tackle. Patriots scoring drive took 10 plays, covered 79 yards, and ate up 6 minutes and 16 seconds before Horace Ivory galloped the last 20 for the touchdown.
I think the important there is 6 minutes, 16 seconds, and scoring. Really puts a lot of pressure now on Seattle. Let's take a look at Cornell Webster. It's good to see him back up and over there. He was limping off the field. Knew he was in a lot of pain.
The Seahawks send McCullum left and Largent right. They trail by 10 points, 27-17, a minute 32 to play in the 3rd period. Zorn has time. Not anymore, he doesn't. A flag is down, and so is Zorn at the 15-yard line. He had enough time, but the New England secondary did a good job of covering his receivers, and then that protection broke down.
Disregard
and a flag flew along with it. Disregard it, says Pat Haggerty. Somebody dropped the flag inadvertently. The play stands. A loss of 6.
If it had been against Seattle, New England would have refused the penalty out of 5-yard loss on that play.
2nd down, and they are calling it a 5-yard loss. So it'll be 2nd down and 15. 3 wide receivers as Rabel joins Largent and McCullum. Zorn again under a heavy rush. This time he escaped. Zorn, one of the great running quarterbacks, is spun down finally at the 34-yard line. Sam McCullum threw a good block for him to spring him for extra yardage. First down yardage.
Mike Hawkins, number 59, a linebacker, made an excellent tackle because had Zorn escaped him, he picked up 18 yards as it was. He was off and running. Now, Zorn, bear in mind, when you talk about runners and how fast you are, they always judge you by the 40-yard dash. And he runs the 40 yards in about 4.6. That's the speed of running backs.
Last half minute of the 3rd quarter. Zorn lobs it over 2 defenders to Dan Dornick.
That's about as nice a touch as you can have. He had to throw the ball over 2 linebackers. One was Mike Hawkins, number 59, and he drops this ball over the linebackers right into the hands of 33 Dornick. Picked up about 9 yards, I believe it is. So now it's going to be 2nd and less than 1 yard to go for a first down. It reminds me that not too long ago they were in very much the same position. 2nd and 1, 3 tries, and they came up short.
From their own 43 with 9 seconds left in the quarter. Keep it on the ground. Dornick trying to get the first down and does. Steve Nelson tackled him after a gain of 2. That will be the last play of the third quarter. When we come back, it'll be first down for Seattle. They will be at their own 46. And at the end of 3, the score, New England 27, Seattle 17. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Bob Costas and Len Dawson. Start of quarter number 4 at the Kingdome in Seattle. Zorn thus far, 15 for 29, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns. Grogan, 13 for 21, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pitch back to Sherman Smith on first down. And Smith tries to turn the corner. Breaks out of a hand tackle. Sprints down the sidelines for a big gain before Tim Fox, the free safety, tripped him up and Smith was hurt on the play. He got down to about the 30-yard line of New England. About a 23 or 24-yard gain.
He broke about 2 tackles also when he turned that corner. Good block by number 86, Jesse Green, is coming back in motion and knocked down the 23-yard gain.
Here it is again, Lenny.
This is a pitch out to 47 is Sherman Smith. Gets out in front. He'd break his tackle there. Somebody grabbed a hold of his jersey, but he ran right through that before he's finally knocked out of bounds right there by number 48, Tim Fox. You can see right now that he's in pain.
Tim Fox, who made that play, has started law school this year. Last season, he negotiated his own contract. Did not use an agent. Negotiated his own pack with GM Bucko Kilroy. That's kind of rare these days in the NFL or any other major sport. Timeout with 14:53 remaining. And New England up by 10, but Seattle threatening. Sherman Smith shaken up on that last play, being attended to on the Seahawks sideline. By the way, Mark Bell, the tight end who was hurt during the first half, has an ankle injury. It will be x-rayed. He will not return for the rest of the day. First and 10, Seattle from the New England 31 with 14:53 left in the game. Moore and Jodat are the running backs. Zorn ignores them and goes right to the air, takes it up top. Largent is out there, touchdown. Steve Largent. His second touchdown catch of the day, his second touchdown catch of the year. He had been shut out in the first 2 games. This time, he got behind Roland James and a 31-yard scoring strike from Zorn.
Jim Zorn goes back in the pocket. He maintains his composure because he has to step up right there. Great touch. Great feel for this ball because he just lays it up nice and softly right into the hands of Largent going into the end zone. Largent put on a great move on the defenders because he was running toward the middle of the field thinking they were going deep inside, and he cut back to the outside. The ball was there, and it's very simple that way. Good protection for Zorn and a great throw and a great catch.
Largent with 5 catches today for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. Herrera can bring his club back to within a field goal if he hits this, which he does. So some early fireworks here at the start of the fourth quarter. 14 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the game, and the Patriot lead is shaved to 3 at 27-24. Herrera walking to the sidelines where he confers briefly with Jack Patera, possibly hoping that Patera would give him the go-ahead for another of his patented onside kick attempts.
You notice what happens there. He went to the coach. The coach said either to kick it away or maybe have some sort of onside kick. Then they huddle up. And Herrera is giving the information to the team out there as to what the coach had said. I am assuming right now with 14:46 remaining in the fourth quarter that they're going to kick the ball away.
Taking no chances, however. New England sends Ivory deep, but more importantly, a bunch of people up close to defend against that onside kick.
New England has been burned before by this man, number 1, Efren Herrera. Does an outstanding job of onside kicking. That's an art that some kickers really never develop.
Last week, I worked a game in Miami where George Roberts, the punter, came up with an onside punt following a safety.
I don't know how they did that. I doubt if they ever practiced it.
It worked for them and helped them pull out a miracle victory over Cincinnati. Here's Ivory. Across the 15, across the 20, across the 30-yard line. Horace Ivory has done a good job running back kicks, and he also has a 20-yard scoring run today from scrimmage for the Patriots. The report on Sherman Smith, he injured his right knee. The severity of it not yet known. He's up and walking around, as you can see, and a moment ago we saw him smiling on the sidelines. We assume then it is not a serious injury.
Well, if you get up and walk around like that right after you've been hit, it's not that serious.
Ferguson and Calhoun are the backs. Calhoun gets the call, breaks out of a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and sprints out near midfield to the 48-yard line. So New England comes right back. Their lead was cut to 3, and they waste no time trying to add to it.
This looks like a different offensive team in the second half with the Patriots. This is just straight ahead. 61, Sam Adams, a good block. Now he's breaking tackles. Broke the tackle of 77, Bill Gregory, picking up a first down. But they're running right now, looks like, with a great deal more authority in the second half than they did in the first half.
Calhoun got 16 on the play. They fake the give to Ferguson. Grogan has all day back there before lobbing one out to a wide-open Harold Jackson. He couldn't have been more all alone. Finally, he skips out of bounds as Cornell Webster, who was playing center field on the play, back deep, comes up behind him and knocks him out at about the 13.
Here's a 40-yard play, but watch the protection that Grogan gets. He's sitting back there looking, rocking around in the pocket, finally has to get rid of the ball, but Jackson is wide open. What had happened, Stanley Morgan, number 86, the other wide receiver, had taken Cornell Webster and the other deep back way downfield, and it was just a matter of throwing the ball over the linebackers. But the important thing there for Grogan and New England is he had plenty of time to let that play develop.
The ball now just shy of the 12-yard line, and this has been the pattern all day long. One team scores and another strikes back quickly. 13:52 remaining. There's Stanley Morgan in motion. He's already caught 2 touchdown passes today. Vegas Ferguson just about back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 10. Keith Butler, the right side linebacker, got to him first.
Yes, but Manny Tuiasosopo,
very good.
got to him. He didn't make the tackle, but he got a hold of him and really slowed him down in order to have the rest of his teammates come on and make the tackle. Big play on first down. That makes it 2nd and 11 in a situation where Grogan's going to have to go to the air.
And accordingly, Beeson, the middle linebacker, goes out, and Joe Norman, who is better at defending against the pass, comes in. Francis moving left to right. Grogan pumping and scampering out of there and goes down at about the 11-yard line. Keith Simpson was closing in on him fast from his strong safety spot, and Grogan did the smart thing.
Yes, he did. He got as much as he possibly could because he was in a jam. Down here in a situation like this, the defense has a little bit of an advantage because they have the end zone to help them. They know, the safety men know that they don't have to worry about any deep patterns because they're located down around the 12 or 13-yard line. So they can play everything in front of them.
Third down, and we'll call it 9 yards to go.
Grogan calling a timeout. Timeout, New England.
Timeout, New England. And the numbers on Grogan, you saw it hit 14 of 22 thus far. When we come back, he will have gotten his play from Ron Earhart and the assistants. They'll have 3rd and 9 at the 11 with a 3-point lead. One of the better-looking spectators at the Kingdome.
You don't mean the one with the beard?
I was afraid you might say that. No, that's not who I was referring to.
We got a 3rd and 9 situation right now. New England wants points. They want at least 3 points. So if they throw the football, I'm sure Grogan is told, the man isn't open, throw the football away. 12 and a half minutes remaining in this football game. If they did get 3 points instead of 7, that would force Seattle to go for a touchdown.
Morgan left, Jackson right. Now Jackson in motion. Fakes it to Foreman, throws to the end zone, and Francis was behind his man, but the pass was not on target. It'll be 4th down, and they'll have to settle for 3.
Well, I'm sure that's what they told him. He wasn't taking a chance. Francis, it would have had to been a perfect pass. Make sure you don't throw the interception. Right now with the situation, Smith is a good bet to make this field goal. He's deadly from this particular area on the field.
He's 2 for 3 so far today.
They get a 6-point lead with approximately 12 and a half minutes remaining in this football game. That forces Seattle to go for a touchdown.
Kavanaugh kneeling at the 19. It's a 29-yard attempt. Smith has hit from 19 and 30. He has missed from 44. He is 4 of 5 on the year. And you can make that 5 of 6 for the season and 3 of 4 today as he drills home a 29-yarder. The fans confer over the situation. Hello. And for the moment at least, goodbye with New England up by 6. The kick by Hubach. Taken by Cornell Webster. Cornell Webster across the 25 and belted down at about the 28. Larry McGrew in on the tackle. 22-yard return. 12 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. And Seattle within a touchdown of a tie. A touchdown and a point after would put them ahead. They trail 30-24.
Cornell Webster going off the field. He is very intent in running that back. He just completely sacrificed his body. Zorn coming up now is 16 for 31, 238 yards and 3 touchdowns with no interceptions. He has been the man for Seattle today.
And he'll go to his air game again. Swings it out of the backfield to Jeff Moore, and Moore skips out of bounds. Tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central and Mountain. Don't miss the season premiere of Chips. Punch ends up over his head tonight to save a woman from a watery grave. And at 8 Eastern, 7 Central and Mountain, it's James Michener's Centennial, one of the biggest movies ever made. Robert Conrad, and this week at least the ubiquitous Richard Chamberlain star in Centennial. Chips and Centennial will be seen 1 hour earlier than originally scheduled due to the presidential debate. On the West Coast, you will see the debates live at 7, followed by Chips at 8 and Centennial at 9. Second down and about 9 yards to go.
Coming after him. Going up top.
Up top, and he's got his man. Steve Rabel made the catch. Rabel got behind Claiborne. Claiborne eventually dragged him down at the 31-yard line of New England.
They had the blitz coming. They were going after Zorn. He sees it. He reads it. You see them coming after him. He throws it up top. Rabel is there. He's got a step on his man, Claiborne, number 26. A perfect pass. A perfect pass. A nice and soft pass. It's easy to catch. They come up with a 40-yard gain. Very much now in scoring position. As I said before, New England wanted that 3 points because they want to force Seattle to go for a touchdown. But there's so much time left now, I'm sure Seattle would settle for 3.
And they have done it all on the left arm of Jim Zorn. His running game has been almost non-existent. And he doesn't even bother with it here on first down. Steps back up, takes off, slips out of the grasp of one tackler, and turns it into a short game before Rod Schote, the linebacker, makes the tackle.
He can do a lot of things. One thing, besides throwing the ball, he just threw a perfect pass on a blitz to Rabel. Now he's going to take off. The pressure's there. 85, Julius Adam is there. And Schote, 56, just gets a hold of his foot and trips him up, but he comes up with a 5-yard gain. He turned a nothing play into a 5-yard gain strictly because of his versatility.
Second and 5 at 26.
Jack Patera glancing at the scoreboard, which shows 10:45 remaining. His club down by 6. Second down and 5 from the New England 26. Pitches it back to Jeff Moore. Moore needs 5 yards. Moore has the 5 yards. And then some.
Yes, sir, he picked up at least 6 yards on the play.
Looked like Jim Jodat threw a good block in front of him.
Number 43 is Jodat. He is out in front. Does make the block. Cuts back. 6-yard gain. They're now first and 10 at the 20-yard line. 10 minutes, 8 seconds, and counting down in the ball game.
Both clubs have just marched up and down this field consistently. One team will score, the other wastes no time, striking right back.
They're all up there for New England. He's checking off right now.
And he goes to Moore, who tries to take it off tackle and is stuffed for a yard loss. Larry McGrew, the rookie linebacker from USC, makes the tackle.
I don't know what that means from Jack Patera, the head coach.
Apparently he finds some of these proceedings humorous.
I don't believe he does. I don't think he thought that last play was humorous because they lost a yard on it. That was an audible. He was checking off at the line of scrimmage. New England had virtually all of their defensive men up or near the line of scrimmage.
Clock moving with 9:15 left.
Steve Nelson, number 57, out of the ball game.
Zorn on second.
He's
and 11.
checking off again. It's down to 3 seconds on that 30-second clock, so he had to do something. He had to call timeout or take a 5-yard penalty.
Both clubs now have 2 timeouts remaining. We have 9:02 on the clock. When we come back, it's 2nd and 11, Seattle from the New England 21. Bob Costas with Len Dawson in Seattle. The Seahawks trying to come back. They trailed at one time in the second half by 10 at 27-17. Now the count reads New England 30 and Seattle 24. The Seahawks on the move at the 21 of the Patriots. 9:02 remaining. 2nd down and 11. A good look at Jim Zorn.
A good look at all the defensive players up near that line of scrimmage. They're coming after him, too.
Quick drop, a lob throw out there. He's got McCullum, and this game is tied.
The flag is down. The flag is down. I don't know who they're going to call it.
It is against New England, and the touchdown stands.
I could take a look at Zorn jumping about 4 feet up in the air to tell who was on.
Defense, dirt.
So when you blitz and you go all out with a safety blitz, sometimes you get burned. This time Jordan read it. He checked off. He knew what was happening. They're coming after him. He lays it up in the air. You can see all the defensive men coming after. Fine throw. The defensive man had no idea where the ball was. He tried to grab him as he was going by, but for not. 6 points for Seattle. It's now tied. An extra point would put them ahead.
McCullum's 2nd touchdown today, his 4th of the year. Zorn's 4th touchdown pass of the game. The point after is added by Herrera, and with 8 minutes and 57 seconds remaining, we have got a wild one. The Seahawks 31 and the Patriots 30. Largen and McCullum each have caught 2 touchdown passes. Zorn calling home to tell his mom and dad that he has hit for 4 touchdown passes, 4th time in his career that he's done that.
And also, he's 42 yards rushing. He and Joe Dat tied for that. 300 yards passing so far. This game is far from over.
During the break, the Kingdome fans were chanting defense, a commodity that has been conspicuously absent on both sides so far.
Now when you're taking a look at a score 31-30, 8:57 remaining in this football game.
Welcome to those of you who've been watching San Diego and Denver. I'm Bob Costas along with Len Dawson. We're at the Kingdome in Seattle, and we have got a whale of a ball game on our hands. 8:57 remaining. Efren Herrera about to kick off to Horace Ivory of New England, and the Seahawks lead the Patriots 31-30. Ivory comes across the 25, across the 30-yard line, and is dumped at the 32, and that's where the Patriots will go to work, trying to regain the lead, which at one time was 10 points at 27-17. But Jim Zorn has led the Seahawks back. He has thrown 4 touchdown passes, 2 to Sam McCullum, 2 to Steve Largen, and momentarily at least, the Seahawks lead by 1.
That last play, guess who was involved in the tackle? Number 1, Efren Herrera.
And again, the Kingdome crowd begins to chant defense. Vegas Ferguson on 1st down, and the rookie from Notre Dame moves across the 40 before free safety John Harris stops him. It'll be 2nd down and about 1.
The second half, rushing-wise for the New England Patriots, there's a man who's really done an outstanding job, number 43, Vegas Ferguson. Also, Horace Ivory, a 20-yard touchdown run in this football game in the second half, but New England is taking control of that line of scrimmage in the second half. If it hadn't been for Zorn for Seattle, they wouldn't be in the ball game.
Steve Grogan has thrown 2 touchdown passes, 68 and 40 yards to Stanley Morgan. Horace Ivory has run 20 for another score, and John Smith has kicked 3 field goals. Michael Jackson made the stop on Don Calhoun, who got 8 yards, and a New England 1st down.
Really has not been too much defense in this football game. Right now, first time they got the football on 1st down, 9 yards. Next time they get 8 yards. The ball now nestled on the 48-yard line.
And the clock showing 7:45 remaining. You get the feeling that the team that wins this game will be the team that has the ball last. Calhoun slips out of some trouble in the backfield. Straight arms Dave Brown, and down the sidelines he goes for big yardage. Out of bounds at about the 37-yard line of Seattle.
They are just going straight at Seattle. That time Calhoun, number 44, did a good job of breaking tackles and picking up big yardage for another first down.
14 yards on the play for Calhoun. He goes out now, replaced by Mosi Tatupu.
75 yards for Calhoun so far in this ball game.
7:29 remaining. The Seahawks by 1 at 31-30. First and 10, New England. Tatupu. Tatupu is tackled by Tuiasosopo. And do not touch your set. There's nothing wrong with it. I was waiting for that all day. Mosi Tatupu ran into the arms of Manu Tuiasosopo. Tonight at 7 Eastern, 6 Central and Mountain, don't miss the season premiere of Chips as Punch ends up over his head to save a woman from a watery grave. Then at 8 Eastern, 7 Central and Mountain Time, it's James Michener's Centennial, starring Robert Conrad and Richard Chamberlain. Chips and Centennial will be seen an hour earlier than originally scheduled due to tonight's presidential debate. On the West Coast, you will see the debates live at 7, followed by Chips at 8 and Centennial at 9 on NBC.
Horace Ivory replacing Ferguson in the backfield for New England.
Second down and 7. They fake the reverse. And Ivory holds onto the ball. Sheds one tackler. And then Seattle converges on him with 3 people. Cornell Webster was there first. He got 6 on the play, and that will leave them with about 3rd and 1.
LA 51, Green Bay 21.
Clock is moving with 6 minutes and 18 seconds remaining. Harold Jackson is departing. They will bring in Don Hasselbeck and go with a 2 tight end offense in all likelihood. Francis and Hasselbeck needing just a yard on 3rd down.
Ivory's out of the ball game. Ferguson back in.
They've got Ferguson and Tatupu in the backfield behind Grogan. Tatupu looking for a yard, which would give them the first down.
Tackled by Terry Beeson.
They haven't moved the sticks yet.
They want him out there. They want to measure.
There's referee Pat Haggerty. And they are calling for the change. Clock stopped with 5 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Seattle up by 1, but New England once again knocking at the door.
Give him a couple of inches to go. Couple of inches to go. It's decision time. I think the decision will be to go for it.
That's the man who has to make the decision, Ron Earhart. He says, go ahead. We need about a foot, maybe less. You can pick it up.
There's going to be a whole bunch of people up on that line of scrimmage.
Would you be daring enough here to go with a play fake and lob it over everybody, trying for 6?
I believe I'd give it to Tatupu.
Grogan does just that. He's hit early. He got away from the first tackle. And now again, we have to wait and see where they spot it. Had he gone down when he was first hit, it would have been a loss and Seattle's ball. But he fought that tackle off and came close at least to the first down.
He had great leg drive. If they made it, it's because of the great leg drive of Tatupu. Because he was hit in the backfield. They want to take a look at it. I think they made it by a couple of inches.
Steve Grogan making sure he has the angle on it along with Pat Haggerty. Exactly 5:30 remaining in the game. By half the length of the football, first down.
Wasn't even close.
So Tatupu got about a foot on the play, but that was all they needed.
He actually got about a yard and a half because he was hit in the backfield. Because, as I said, of the great leg drive, he was able to pick up that first down. And boy, that is important. That clock is 5:20 and counting down. They are now in John Smith territory.
The first downs for the game, just about as close as the score. Jackson in motion. Carrying is Ferguson. Trying to go wide. They drag him down. Michael Jackson got there first. Now let's go to New York and Bryant Gumbel with an update from NFL 80.
Thank you, Bob Costas. At Mile High, San Diego put up some early points, an awful lot of them, but since then their offense has stalled. They've been forced to punt again, this time Jeff West getting it off, and Rick Upchurch being run out of bounds after just a 9-yard return. But Denver's offense is in business, trailing 30-13. Let's go back to the Kingdome in Seattle.
Thanks, Bryant. So, the Magic, which carried the Broncos over the Cowboys a week ago, missing against the San Diego Chargers, at least so far. Don Calhoun carries. And Calhoun running strongly is to about the 17-yard line of Seattle before Mike Jackson, the linebacker, gets credit for the stop. There's Jackson, number 55, at the bottom of the heap. That's a first down for New England.
Give credit to that offensive line of New England. 61, Sam Adams has been doing a great job.
And we now pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is KING-TV, Seattle.
4 minutes and 29 seconds remaining at the Kingdome in Seattle. Bob Costas with Len Dawson. New England trails by a point. But they are driving with 1st and 10 at the Seattle 17. Grogan hands to Calhoun, stuffed in the backfield for a loss.
Number 58, Terry Beeson, the middle linebacker, really shot through there and disrupted everything in the backfield, made Calhoun change his direction. Bill Gregory was the man that finally made the tackle, but it was 58, Beeson, who got the penetration that was necessary. They had to do something on first down because for this entire drive, New England has been taking that ball on first down and banging out 7, 8, 9 yards. They had to do something to stop them, to force them into a passing situation.
Beeson goes off. Joe Norman replaces him in a passing situation. 2nd down and 11 from the 18-yard line. 3:40 left. Vegas Ferguson. He doesn't get much. A yard or two. It'll be 3rd and long for New England.
It's going to be a situation. They're going to be about 3rd and 9 yards to go, Bob. 3 minutes, 20 seconds counting down now. They're down by 1 point. What this man does not want to do is you see Andy Johnson and Chuck Foreman coming into the backfield for New England. They don't want to give up the football. They've got an outstanding field goal kicker. They want to make sure that they have an opportunity, if they don't get the first down or score, for John Smith to kick.
If they get no closer than this, the field goal by Smith would be about a 34-yarder. Grogan to the air on 3rd down. Grogan firing and hitting his man in the end zone for the touchdown. Don Hasselbeck, the reserve tight end, 4-year man from Colorado, with his 3rd touchdown of the season.
That's where the height that Don Hasselbeck has. This is a 16-yard touchdown pass. Good protection for Grogan. Throwing the ball. Hasselbeck coming up with all alone in the end zone. 42 is Simpson, who is behind Hasselbeck, and I'm sure couldn't see the ball because there's a big difference in height. Hasselbeck is at least 6'6".
So John Smith comes on. Hasselbeck, to be exact, is 6'7". And Hasselbeck, connecting with Grogan, who throws his 3rd touchdown pass, has put the Patriots in front. Smith tacks on another point. We've got 2 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the ballgame. And the score, New England 37 and Seattle 31. But Zorn has thrown for 4 scores, so don't go away. The premiere episode this season of Chips will be seen immediately following the conclusion of NBC football coverage over most of these stations, except for most Mountain and Pacific time zone stations, where it will be seen at its regular time. Mike Kubach to kick off for the Patriots. As we ride the seesaw, it's New England's turn to have the lead. They're up by 6. Cornell Webster takes the kick and tries to bring it around to the left. Oops, I'll go back the other way, says Cornell. He retreats to the 10, and he goes down at about the 6. He did a lot of running, but no gaining before Roland James made the tackle. The winner here today will in all likelihood trail by a game in their division. Buffalo is off to a great start. They're 3-0 in the AFC East. So with a win today, New England would be 2-1 and a game back. San Diego apparently on their way to making their record 3-0, leading at Denver. Seattle would need to win to go 2-1 and stay a game behind them.
At this stage of the season, with just 3 games played, A team does not want to be 2 games back in the 1-loss column. That's why this game is very, very important for both teams.
Seattle has been getting pretty good kick return work all day, but now in this crucial situation, they have bad field position as Webster wasn't able to do anything with that kick. From inside their own 10, they start out, and Largent is the target. He saves them some valuable time by getting out of bounds near the 20, and that's close to a first down. It is a first down, apparently.
It'll be a first down. Picked up 11 yards on that play. That was a real bad mistake by Cornell Webster, incidentally, on that kickoff return. You don't retreat like he did right there. You get as much yardage as you possibly can. Don't take the chance of putting your team in a big hole. And that's what he did.
As it becomes relevant with time winding down, each club has 2 timeouts remaining. 2 minutes and 31 seconds on the clock.
Here's where it's important, I think, for quarterbacks to call a play because they can get them in and out of the huddle. They're down to 9 seconds already, and the man in motion, he snaps at about 6 seconds of the 30-second clock.
Zorn steps up into the pocket, fires down the right side, and a key interception on the play. Ray Claiborne went up and pulled it down. And he's mobbed by his teammates. Claiborne, who led the Patriots with 5 interceptions in 1979, takes the ball away from Jim Zorn and the Seahawks. It's at about the 49-yard line of New England. The intended target was John Sawyer, the tight end.
He was going to number 81, Sawyer, the tight end, but he did not locate Claiborne, number 26. He's looking to his left. He's going to come back and throw the ball to his right, but he never located the defensive back, and he throws it right to where he is. He was intended for 81, Sawyer, but he never had a chance to come up with a catch.
That's the first time that Zorn has been intercepted today, but what a time for it. They spot the ball on the other side of the 50 at the 49 of Seattle.
Look right now for New England to put that ball on the ground.
The 2-minute warning eventually will stop the clock. Then the Seahawks can stop it twice more on their own. They wrap up Don Calhoun, and they ask for a timeout. At least that's what Bill Gregory was doing. He's the veteran of the defensive unit, and they do stop the clock. This is pretty good strategy to use those 2 timeouts before the 2-minute warning. That way, if they stop them from getting the first down in this sequence, they'll have very close to 2 full minutes to work with themselves.
Let's go back. What about the timeout they had to call because they were taking too much time on that 30-second clock and had to call a timeout to prevent a 5-yard loss? That's why I say quarterbacks calling the plays, you can get in and get out of that huddle a lot quicker than you can if the plays. That Seattle does not do a great job of calling plays. Jerry Rome does an outstanding job of calling plays, but certain situations, you got to turn it over to that quarterback.
Sometimes the coaches counter that argument about letting the quarterback call his own plays by saying, not only do we think we can do a somewhat better job of calling the plays, but since we know what's coming, since we make the call, we can watch what develops better. We can anticipate what's happening and look at key matchups. It lets us follow the game better. Do you buy that argument?
I do not buy that, because that's been told to me before. I don't buy that. What about the fact that a quarterback like Brogan could go into the huddle and he could look at number 61, Sam Adams, and say, Sam, I want to run this particular play in this particular area. How can we block it? Now, Sam Adams, if he makes a statement, you can be assured that he's going to bust his tail to make sure that that is accomplished. You get the players involved. Coaching staff, they do all the work prior to the game, but right now, the people involved that determine the winning and losing of this game are the players on the field.
2nd and 10 with 2:17 left. A hole opens for Vegas Ferguson. He gets good yardage, but it will be 3rd down. He picked up about 6. Jacob Green, the rookie, the number 1 Seattle draft choice this year from Texas A&M, made the tackle. Seattle expends their last timeout with 2 minutes and 7 seconds left.
They gave up a lot of yardage on that situation right there when they knew that New England was going to run with the football, giving up 4 or 5 yards. Now it's a situation where it's 3rd and 4. I'm sure that New England is going to keep that football on the ground.
Their punter is Mike Kubach. He is a rookie from Kansas who kicked spectacularly well in the first 2 games, has not done nearly as well today. His talents could come into play if New England doesn't make the first down on this next play.
Well, his talents would come into play. The main thing is get hold of the ball and kick it, get rid of it. You don't care exactly how far it goes. No timeouts remaining for Seattle, and they have to have a touchdown. They're down by 6.
A reminder reminder that in the Eastern time zone and the Central time zones, the premier program of Chips for this season will follow immediately after our NBC football coverage. It'll be seen at its regular time on the West Coast.
This has really been a great game, and both quarterbacks have performed beautifully out there. By the way, you credit where the defense hasn't played that well, which I don't think they have on either side, but you have to give credit to both offenses that they've come up with some outstanding plays.
Jim Zorn hoping that he'll have one more crack at it, and when he does, he'll be looking for that man, number 80, Steve Largent.
Well, he made a catch in the end zone that was out of this world.
All right, this is it. Seattle has to stop them here if they hope to have a chance. 3rd and 4. 2:07 left.
They should be playing the run all the way. There it comes.
Ferguson trying to go wide, and I believe he got the first down. Now let's see. He is so close. Terry Beeson made the tackle, but perhaps too late for Seattle. They're right next to the stick. They can measure without moving.
You see Jim Ringo, the coach, is giving some help down there and making that decision. Once again, right there, Seattle knew they had to run with the football. They went wide. The force man was not up there to make him turn him inside. He was able to get to the sidelines and break a tackle, pick up the first down.
And some of the fans at the Kingdome who have seen a terrific ball game think it's over now. They get up and start filing out. He went out of bounds on the play with 2:01 left, so technically after this next play we will get the official 2-minute warning, and that will be the last time the clock will stop, because the Seahawks are, and only a miracle reminiscent of the Philadelphia-New York Giant game of 2 years ago can save the Seahawks now.
Well, they can still get the football back because it's going to be timeout after this play. There's a good hit. That's Hardy. Robert.
Just to the 2-minute warning. Technically a minute 57 remaining on the clock, and we'll come back to the Kingdome in just a minute.
In New York, those of you who were watching the Chargers-Broncos game and are now watching the Patriots and the Seahawks should be advised that nothing has changed. Denver is still out in front, still trailing in that ball game 30-13 as time winds down. Let's go back to Seattle and rejoin Bob Costas.
Thank you, Bryant. We have a minute and 57 seconds remaining. No timeouts left for Seattle. The Patriots have 2 remaining, but that's academic right now. The Patriots lead Seattle 37-31. They have 2nd down and 10 from just inside the...
What Seattle's going to have to try to do is strip that ball from the ball carrier. And, of course, Grogan is telling his running backs, make sure first things first, you hold on to the football. But there's a good possibility that Seattle could get the ball back before this ball game is over. But they must stop New England.
There'd be only seconds remaining if they can stop them. Here's Ferguson running well. Ferguson is down to around the 30-yard line. Clock winds down. It's at 1:43 right now. He got 8 on the play. It's 3rd down and 2.
There's a situation right now, Bob, that it's 3rd and 2. They could, if they don't make the first down on 3rd down, they could go for it on 4th down.
And not risk handling the ball on a punt or on a field goal where anything could happen. Seattle still with a prayer. They could have a few seconds to work with if they could stop them on this play and possibly the next if New England elects to go for it on 4th down. Ferguson renders all of that academic by getting the first down. And now the clock will run out, barring a fumble on the Seahawks.
I don't understand this. I don't understand the defense of Seattle, because they should be having as many minutes on that line of scrimmage as they possibly can. They know that New England is going to run with the football, and they've been running basically the same place. They've been running over to 79, Jacob Green's position, thinking that here's a rookie, we'll work on him.
All kinds of big plays in a game as wide open as this one, with 68 points being scored. But if you had to pick out one in the 4th quarter, it's probably Claiborne's interception, which took the ball away from Zorn and the Seahawks. 28 seconds left as they snap it, and Grogan goes down.
The game is over.
Seattle cannot stop the clock. Ferguson carried 20 times today for 75 yards. Calhoun had an even better day. Don Calhoun carried 12 times and picked up 77 yards rushing. They will not snap the ball again. New England will leave the Kingdome with a 2-1 record. Seattle will be 1-2. And And we'll be right back to wrap this one up at the Kingdome in Seattle in just a moment. The final score as the gun sounds: the Patriots 37 and the Seahawks 31.